forgot. Folks, we are live. Submit to the High Council here on World Class Bullshitters. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is Mecha Random 42.
Why did I choose that moment to take a bite out of my sandwich? I waited like 5 minutes. Hello.
Well, I figured we should introduce the birthday girl first. So,
oh, thank you, and thank you, everybody here for showing up for the birthday stream. I really, really appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun. It was funny because we were all on there just about 90 minutes ago. So it's like, all right, well, good to see you guys again, as you said, Cameron. So, we're also joined by Tom from Midnight's Edge, as well as everywhere on the internet.
Hello.
And finally, folks, we have a very special guest tonight, Mr. Kamran Pasha.
Hello, thank you for having me on. It looks like it's been a crazy week. I think it'll probably get crazier as we go along this week.
Yeah, all signs point to a batshit year, and that's cool. I'm ready. 2020 thickened my skin, so I'm ready for whatever this year can throw at me. Now, folks, we're going to be covering a smattering of things. We'll be talking about the Rian Johnson trilogy because that's in the news. Yay. We're talking about some of this Gina Carano stuff, as well as a fun opener. So let's just jump into the opener because I feel like we could all use a nice ha-ha moment. So, Cameron, are you watching the wonderful show Batwoman?
Regrettably, I am not. I'm a CW alumnus, but that show I've been unable to get myself to actually watch a single episode.
Well,
however, I hear all about it all day long. So
now, Mecca, you know way more about Batwoman than anyone on this panel. No. I know nothing.
Is that sad? Is that sad? Like, oh.
It is sad. It's also sad that after they've announced another season, ratings are dropping again. Now, we took a nice look at this when the show first dropped. We had the new female lead. I think her name is Javicia Leslie. She replaced Ruby Rose. I almost called her Abbey Road. She replaced Ruby Rose as whoever she plays. I don't know, Batwoman. She's not Barbara Gordon anymore, so I don't know. Anyway, long story short, this show is shit in the bed, and they gave it a new season for no reason whatsoever.
No, there's a reason. I've worked with CW. There's a reason.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the higher-rated CW ones, right?
Even by CW standards, it's not doing well. But when it comes to ratings, I guess. But that's not what it is. I mean, this is a political thing. The show is a Greg Berlanti show, and Mr. Berlanti is a major source of all of their product, right? So this is essentially a loss leader to keep the boss happy. Number one. Number two, it is also a PR thing. It is part of the CW's image of itself as a leader for the woke generation. Right, and so that's the packaging of it. It doesn't matter if anyone watches this; it serves other purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of sad because those are all DC Comics characters, which they should all be treated with the same level of respect. And anytime I see a CW version of a DC character, I go, "Oh, the TV version." Outside of any agenda-driven stuff, I always just thought of it as kind of like, not the Kmart equivalent, but I go to the theater for a reason. The TV versions just never really.
But the Flash was good. I mean, I watched the first several seasons of Flash. I sort of gave up after a while just with my own life. But the Flash is a good show. I mean, at least it was for the first few seasons that I watched.
Arrow was okay in the beginning. I can't dump on that one. I started to look at that.
Yeah, both of those shows started off with 2 pretty good seasons, maybe 3 at the most. But then Arrow turned into fucking Dallas with superheroes once in a while, and then the Flash just turned into I want to sleep with my stepsister and other weird shit, and it just got weird.
Yeah, that's not what I want to watch a show about. So I would have pulled this up, but my computer froze. So we'll talk about while it's frozen for a moment. Cameron, did you see the Snyder Cut trailer?
I have not seen, because I wasn't a fan of the original Snyder cut, the original version of any of these movies that Mr. Snyder put out. And I know that breaks the heart of my good friend Abu Nas, who's a passionate defender of it. But again, I'm on Twitter all day long, so I feel like I know the trailer because people are talking about it all day long.
Yeah, I watched it and I don't know. Tom Mecca, while we're waiting for my stuff to unfreeze, what did you guys think of it?
It's so samey than sort of to the other one for somebody like me who like I was a gaming channel back when it came out, so I didn't even watch the Justice League originally. So like it just looks like the same movie to me. It's just so okay. It still has the same problems. It still has the same issues. It's still really dark. It's still rushing in all these characters I'm supposed to care about before they all have their own identities and personalities. At least, especially for like Cyborg and well, I mean, Flash has the TV show, but still, it's like, it still is like, and I'm still really tired of Batman and Superman being like, I don't know, I don't like this whole dark phase that they're kind of.
Well, but that's Mr. Snyder's vision. I mean,
yeah.
And look, I enjoyed much of Man of Steel until the final act, right? And then I was like, the entire thing was just one big battle sequence with no dialogue, right? And it pulled me out. And then when we had Batman versus Superman, I was like, what the hell is this, right? I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then and I watched the sort of bastardized version of Justice League, and it was okay. And then I sort of was, all the energy was out. But then I saw Wonder Woman, at least the first Wonder Woman, and that blew me away. So the second Wonder Woman did not. But now I feel like there's a standard for what can be accomplished. So if it doesn't live up to that standard, I'm just not that interested. Did we lose?
Jeff had to reset his stream. There he is.
There we go.
Yeah.
The browser.
He should be right back. So yeah, no, and as far as how I felt about this whole thing, I think my feelings are summed up pretty well in this one tweet that I'm sharing down there, Jeff, if you can. Snyder cut looks so and awesome at the same time. I can't wait to have conflicted feelings yet again when the movie's released. I mean, I'm not trying to braid on anybody's parade. I'm so happy for the fans who wanted this and they're going to get this. But I was in that boat where Man of Steel, I was like, BBS, Suicide Squad, I could take or leave. It was all right. But then I was done with the whole dark thing too. Like most people, it works for Batman and that's it.
Yeah, outside of Batman, is not a dark character.
Exactly.
Superman, I mean, he represents hope. He was written during the height of World War II, right? And he represents hope and light in a world of darkness. And so when he becomes dark, it's just I don't know, man. I could never get into it, and that was the whole feeling. Even from Man of Steel, it just didn't feel like the Superman that I grew up with. And again, people like my friend Abu Nas feel that's a quantum leap in the storytelling. God bless him. It hasn't worked for me.
Now, on the other hand, though, after seeing this trailer, this doesn't look horrible. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it's going to be better than what we got. But Jeff, I'm curious to hear about your feelings on this because you actually don't hate the Justice League movie. I know this. You brought this up before.
Yeah, I always tell the same story. I took my mom to see this movie because she likes Batman, and it's like none of my friends wanted to go see it. They're like, it looks terrible. I'm like, you know what, Mom, you like superheroes. Let's go see Justice League. And she's like, all right, cool. So that didn't really color my perception, but I had somebody to go with, and we both sat there and we watched it. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm reading the reviews, I'm watching the videos. Everyone says this is this dog shit movie. And they get to the end where they're in Russia and they have to save that village. And I'm like, when does this movie get terrible? It was never great, but it was never terrible. I
agree. It wasn't terrible. I mean, the version we saw was, I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was a step up from Batman versus Superman.
I agree.
I felt it lacked something with regard to heart. And some of the humor felt like it was literally like, I could tell, those are the reshoot humor stuff that they put in. But I could also see that in Suicide Squad, right? And I was like, okay, well, that whole joke clearly was just put in there as a reshoot. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what this thing is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
No, I was gonna say I'm hoping it's good. I mean, I don't want to hate it. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I've never wanted to hate any of these movies. I was so disappointed with Man of Steel. but I went into BBS with high hopes. I'm like, all right, they're going to show us why it's going to, because a good sequel can always fix some of the problems you had in a previous film. And that's why I was willing to give The Last Jedi a chance after The Force Awakens, because I'm like, okay, this wasn't perfect, but there's a foundation here to build on. Sure, Han's gone now, but they can build on that. There's still stuff you can do with it, but they didn't. That's the thing. And BBS did half of that, and some of it didn't, in my opinion. Like the first half, that's exactly what I needed to see. I needed to see the ground level, how this fight affected real people, because that's one thing they didn't show in Man of Steel. So I'm like, okay, good. You got a good starting place. Now we're actually seeing it from the point of view of Bruce Wayne and these people and how much of a tragedy this was. And that's all the setup we need for somebody like Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, to hate this alien. Like, he doesn't need any more motivation than that. It's like, motherfucker destroyed my town. Like, that's all I need. Like, and that, then the movie started getting convoluted when it tried to do too much. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you just don't like it because it's too smart for you, or you just don't like the darkness. It's like, no, that's not the problem at all. Problem is that you have a movie that's trying to do 500 things. And the first quarter was good. And then once you get past that and you start adding in Lex Luthor, you start adding in the death of Superman and the Doomsday bit and all this extra stuff that's too much for one movie.
Well, and the only thing is, when Wonder Woman showed up, I had been very like,
I don't know, be there.
No, but when she showed up, that woke the movie up for me, right? I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure about Gal Gadot. Is this the right casting? And then I saw her. I was like, oh my god, this is the right casting. And then I was excited for Wonder Woman. That was the only thing that I got out of that film.
No, and as much as I don't, I like her in the part, I agree, but she was unnecessary for that movie. The only reason she was there is just so they could say, look, we've got the Trinity on screen. That's all it was.
Well, you know what, Tom?
Yeah.
Would you rather sit through BVS to get the Trinity of DC or The Force Awakens and not get the Trinity in Star Wars?
That's the ultimate question. And that's where I was saying, at least the Snyder, and thank you for getting me back around to my point, Jeff. The Snyder cut at least has some redeeming value to it that we'll probably never see out of Star Wars.
No. I know this sounds weird as I'm not showing any interest in the Snyder cut, but I think DC is going to be in the most interesting position by the end of next year, because I don't have any knowledge of anything going on in the inside or anything like that, but I am watching as a fan. And DC is really pulling for that like old school crowd that's going to drop a lot of money. And that comic book they announced today, the Batman 89 and then the Superman 78. Yeah, I
saw that now finally.
And then if you're on the collector's front like I am, they're dropping collectible stuff of Michael Keaton Batman. Like this multiverse stuff they're going to make a mint on multiverse Batman. They've been making a mint on multiverse Spider-Man for probably 7 years, because the Spider-Verse is not the first thing, folks. That movie Into the Spider-Verse is a story that had been out in books for years, a couple years, not many, but still. I think they're going to really capture a lot of people's attention while Marvel's spinning their wheels with some B-listers right now. So I think Snyder cut aside, DC could, really do well.
I mean, I agree with you. The interesting thing for me is how I have lost interest in what Marvel has coming up. And I've enjoyed these films. I've watched pretty much every one of them that's come out, the Marvel films. But after Endgame, it just felt like it was done. And everything they've come up with, I won't even say it's B. It feels like the C story. I'm like, I don't care about any of these characters.
How do you feel about WandaVision? Have you given that a shot yet?
No. I was about to, but I just canceled my Disney Plus because of Gina Carano. So I'm not going to be watching it.
Understandable, completely. Like I always tell folks in the audience, you vote, you decide, you do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell anyone how to operate or act. But if you ever do find a way to watch it without giving them money, the first part sucks, but it gets better. So,
yeah, I mean, I've largely heard that you just got to stick with it a bit. And then it gets better. I think in some ways it reminds me of that kind of commentary is, the Marco Polo show that was on Netflix. Yeah, the first episode isn't that great, but then it gets really good in my opinion. You just have to slog through it.
So, folks, we're going to talk about Gina Carano in just a moment. I'd like to give a couple of shout-outs to our listeners who have been supporting the channel early in the show. So, first off, our friend Deadeye says, hello, we've been trying to get a hold of you to talk about your car's extended warranty.
Which is funny. I was looking for this. I can't find it, but I actually have a phone call I recorded of one of those once. Because I figured out how to get rid of them to quit. Because you can sit there and push 2 to get on their no-call list all you want. They're still going to call you.
Of course, yeah.
So what you do is when they answer, you like... whether it's for a car or a credit card, like the one I pretended like I had, I of course put on some strange accent, and I could never do it justice now without playing it. But like, yeah, basically the car I'd used was stolen and killed somebody, and I wondered if I could get it insured.
Oh God!
And then they usually hang up on your ass. And my last one, Jeff, you would have loved. And they go, "What model car do you have?" "Oh, it's an '81 DeLorean."
Great Scott.
And he goes, and they go, "Oh yeah, is it what? An '81 DeLorean? It's not much to look at, but once that baby hits 88 miles per hour, you'll see some serious shit."
But do they get it? Do they get it? I mean, does this
she did. She figured it out. She hung up on me. She kind of chuckled, and she's just like, "Okay, thank you," and hung up.
See, that's bad salesmanship. There's good salesmanship. You chuckle and go with it and build on it. Well, whatever.
She knew I was wasting it. These are scams. These people are scam artists. We're just wasting their time. You know, they're not really. I already got insurance on my car. It's bullshit. Same thing with the credit cards thing. I ain't gotten a bunch of credit cards. So that was the fun one I made up. I was like, yeah, we maxed out the credit card. We had a sex party. Well, the donkey show really put it over the edge, I'd say. And then they hang up usually.
So we also had our friend Deadeye say, "I can see it now. CNN reports new box office numbers were just found for Rian Johnson's Last Jedi. The numbers have grown twice the amount of all Star Wars movies combined. Also, hail the council."
Well, that's sort of we're living in an era where, let's just say, the numbers change overnight. That we're living in a time like that. So, you know, whatever.
Remember the old phrase, "The numbers don't lie"?
Oh,
well, that's an outdated phrase.
Yeah. Scott Steiner would be really
well. That's actually a pretty good setup with talking about Batwoman and stuff, because this picture kind of almost, if you replace Baby Yoda with Disney and then Gina Carano with a buttload of money, that's an accurate picture.
Yes, because I dropped a video this morning talking about the Cara Dune action figure situation, which in the video I say, I've never seen shit like this. I've been collecting Star Wars since '96. Seen figures come and go in popularity. Sometimes people speculate that the character is going to be way more popular, most of the episode 7 cast, and then they don't. It's very rare that a series of Star Wars figures, even right before Disney took off, it was a different, right before Disney took over, it was a different situation on the collector's front. But since they have, it's been the doom and gloom we've reported for years. This is the first time where there's an organic characters, not just Cara Dune, but Baby Yoda. Mecca loves him to death. You got the Mandalorian, who I think is a cool design. And then you got Cara Dune, who most people across the board seem to have loved. They have recalled this figure. This figure had like multiple releases at one point. Like this Cara Dune, there's the carbonized, there's this paint, there's that paint. This is something I've never seen before, Tom. When you talk about sucking money out of an airlock, Cara Dune figures are going for whatever. Her statue sold out for $600. Like fans want this character. This is a sign that money doesn't matter. This is a power play or whatever the thing is.
Well, that's what this is. I mean, this is a power play. It's linked to the pathology in Hollywood about politics, about a certain ex-president, right? It's linked to all of that mental illness that's taken over this industry for 4 years. And this is going to be the moment of truth where everyone at Disney knows this. From a financial perspective, this is a bad idea. They all know it, right? But they're just utterly terrified of going against the woke witch hunt that has been re-energized in the past few weeks, right? And so this is where they are. Everyone is no one is thinking in terms of the company's success. They're thinking in terms of, how do I keep my job and pay my rent and pay my mortgage and support my family for as long as possible? If Disney collapses in 5 years because of this, that's not my problem. That gives me 5 years to find another job. So no one is thinking in terms of the success of the company. They're thinking in terms of their own survival within the Hollywood system, where it's literally become the Salem witch trial right now.
That's my takeaway from this whole situation was just, like I got a weird chill down my spine, because everything you think, it's like, the market will always dictate what's popular. And then I think back to, they really do keep pushing the same shit in these movies and no one buys it, but they keep doing it. They're not making money. We watch the box office slip. Well, it never mattered.
Because it's two levels. It's two levels here. One is that we just have the mega corporations, right, which diffuses responsibility. If you've got a mom and pop pizza store, right, many of them have been forced out of business because of the current situation we're in. But if you have a mom and pop pizza store that you own, family business, you have to watch the bottom line to survive, right? Whereas if you are in Disney, and I've worked at Disney, if you are in Disney, everyone has a teeny weeny little thing in this massive clog, and there's no centralized responsibility. Everyone is just trying to preserve their place in the system, and they cannot see if the system can survive, nor do they care, right? And so that's one issue. And the second issue is an ideological one, which is unique to this industry in some ways, because this industry sees its purpose as molding public opinion, not satisfying the audience. That's the other political agenda you have, which we saw during the whole Lucasfilm, Last Jedi, sequel era, that they were aware that the audience didn't want this, and they were insulting the audience because their goal was to mold public opinion and not satisfy a customer base. Those are the two problems that we're facing, which we thought that it had resolved itself last year, when I really feel the industry had figured out that that it was going to lead to financial collapse if they kept making these woke movies and things like Birds of Prey and other stuff that people don't want. And then the events of the last year, of the politics of the last year, the riots and all of that, and the current presidential situation, they are just terrified. Nobody's thinking in terms of survival of a company. They're thinking in terms of their survival in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And what I got on screen here for you guys, what I wanted to bring up, take this with a grain of salt, because this is according to Parrot Analytics, and anybody who knows anything about Parrot Analytics,
yeah,
we say take them with a grain of salt. But what they have here is, according to them, the top 9 streaming shows, which this would have been from, I believe, so the week of February 7th. And here's the thing, you got The Crown here coming in at number 8, Lucifer's number 9, 7 was Titans, number 6 was The Clone Wars on Disney Plus. Okay, there's Star Wars. Then you got The Expanse, Stranger Things, of course, huge show, everybody knows that, right? Mm-hmm. Here comes WandaVision. WandaVision pops in at number 3, pretty good, but not great, right? Then Mandalorian comes in at number 2, and this would already be in its repeat session if this was on television, because we're way past. So that's pretty good. But look at what's number 1. This means that Disney has
of course it's number 1. Absolutely is number 1. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying here with this, is that Star Wars isn't as popular as it used to be, kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tom, that also bounces off what I was saying about DC going to cash in with that older audience.
Mm-hmm.
I love The Karate Kid, but I'm also in my 30s. A lot of people who grew up with The Karate Kid are in their 40s or later. So, Cobra Kai does appeal to the older audience, but, that's still money. That's still dollars. It doesn't really matter what your audience looks like. It just matters that you appeal to them. And I'm surprised that Cobra Kai beat out the Mandalorian. Dude, Mandalorian shit is everywhere.
But I'm not surprised, because Cobra Kai didn't have the damage that The Last Jedi did.
Yeah.
Not only that, it has a much bigger audience. See, that's the thing. Disney Plus only has about half the audience that Netflix has. That's the other thing. And they have a long ways to go to catch up with Netflix. So they need Cara Dune right now, because not only that, Gina Carano shot up to number 1 on the IMDb chart. Now, as I don't know if I pointed this out last week or before, because I don't know if this topic was hot yet last week when we brought this up, but she went from low in the charts all the way up to number 2. And Kamran can back me up on this. It is not the easiest thing in the world to get to the top of the charts on IMDb. 2 things have to happen. Either you have to have 1 or 2 huge hit movies in a row, the biggest television show on right now, or you have to die. That's about the 3 things.
And her status inside Disney died, and she became a martyr.
But this was before that even, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, she had written to number 2 just purely because of
exactly her pure star power.
Now she's number 1 because
and that was just being on 1 TV show, right? That's my point. She wasn't in a major movie. She wasn't even the star of The Mandalorian, and she shot up to number 2 before she got fired. Now she's number 1.
And she publicized that. Gina put that whenever that happened, number 2, I remember seeing her tweet out. It was a jab. It was a jab at her detractors. She tweeted that out, telling people, look, for all that I've endured, here's number 2, right? So
arguably the most popular actress in America, if not the world right now, is Gina Carano, and they just fired her ass.
And she's going to be.
So we have something breaking right now here. We have a new thing from Variety. Jenny Cohen joins Walt Disney Company as head of social responsibility.
Okay, social responsibility. Oh my God,
That's a new title now. That's a new thing now.
Wait, why are they?
Who's Jenny Cohen? Let me look her up.
Yeah, who's Jenny Cohen? Now I guess we got to make her hold Justina Ireland and Pedro Pascal and what's the other one's name? Christina Ariel. We got to have her hold them accountable, huh?
Well, I think now, while you guys are looking up who she is, I think what I can do real quick, Jeff, is give kind of everybody a quick overview of what we know now from Gina herself, because she did talk to a reporter and give her side of the story. And the short version is basically she was talked to once, and that was to apologize about the whole trans thing, and she didn't. And according to her, she had not heard from anybody ever again after that. And she found out
she would have apologized. She would have apologized if they would have let her use her words.
Yes, that was the thing. I should be clear about that. Yeah, she was willing to apologize if they were allowed. Yeah, but they presented her with a pre-written apology that she did not approve of.
Yeah, and her point that she was going to make is, I absolutely support the trans community. I don't support bullying. I'm sure that whatever that written apology was making her acknowledge that she had hurt the trans community or something that she's like felt like that's not what I did and that was not what I intended. I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Right.
It's funny all I was gonna say is it's funny you guys brought up the relevance of the story, the popularity. My mom called me on the phone and asked me about this. Like, this is everywhere. Like, my mom in Ohio was like, "What's the Star Wars lady?" Like,
yeah, mine too. My mom knows nothing.
Oh, I have a guy who sells eBay stuff, and he didn't give two shits about this show before this. Now he knows who Cara Dune is just because of all this stuff. Okay. And as you know, as it does need to be pointed out, as far as the IMDb thing goes, that's kind of like parody analytics, where it's all about searches and stuff. So of course that can be manipulated. And of course she's been popular right now, so that does need to be taken into consideration. But it does take a lot to get to the top if you're not in a major movie or anything like that.
It's because a lot of people are clicking her and wanting to know more about her and her future.
Exactly. And she's very popular. And now you have a situation where her side of the story is what I just said. But then this picture that we see on screen here comes from the Hollywood Reporter's lovely version of this story that has so much spin in it that sets your head aflame, because I have a hard time believing their version of the story. And if not, that makes Gina Carano one of the biggest liars in the world. And we've seen Disney operate this way before, but we've seen it with James Gunn. And then in the same article, they even admit to basically bending the knee to the left mindset. So they basically make up a bunch of lies and then make them an excuse because they're telling the truth then. And really, because they even address some of the other stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, you guys are, if you haven't read this article, I'm not getting deep into it because it basically
that negativity. And I mean,
it's just full of bullshit. And then basically
and the trades are PR things for the studios. That's what the trade's purpose is. They're there to present the studio point. They're not objective journalism. That's not what they are. Even if I don't even know if such a thing exists anymore, but they don't even pretend to be. They're there as a PR flack for the power system.
Yeah, this entire thing is to try and make Disney look like they were covering their own ass. Because according to them, they kept warning her. And I don't know why Gina would say.
She's what little interaction I've had with Ms. Carano has convinced me that she's a person of absolute integrity. If she says they only called her once, that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she seems like she's really intelligent. She has a really good heart from everything I've seen from anything. Like she seems to me like she cares about everybody, and she regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, is what she really, really comes across as to me. And
yeah, she's a decent.
It absolutely makes sense to me that if she were asked to apologize, they would want to give her this little blanket statement where it admitted guilt that just allows more and more people to pile on and attack, right? And if she's anything like any one of us in like the fandom menace, which I think she might be, she's probably one of those people who sees how people just get canceled, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you apologize. You got to stand up and say, "This is what I meant." Yeah, and they probably didn't let her.
Well, she actually said that in her interview portion. She says the original post. She's like, she didn't even know what was going on, and then all of a sudden, she had gotten word that she was being called, anti-Semitic. Yeah, and she went and looked and see what was going on, and she's like, they're not even quoting the tweet that I posted. And so she's like, well, do I delete it? Because then if you delete it, then that just usually makes it worse. Yeah. So she is, basically said what Mecca just said. She's already well aware of how this game is played. And
she
again,
knew what she was doing. She knows what she's doing by putting out the post she's been putting out for months under attack. And as someone who supports her and her posts, she was doing that fully aware that she was making herself a target. And she wasn't doing that for a narcissistic attention-seeking thing, because people have said if she was smart and was only thinking about her bottom line pocket, she wouldn't have done any of that, right? She was doing that because she honestly cares as a human being about how our civilization is collapsing and we're creating this Inquisition culture, America and worldwide. And as a human being, she wants to use her position to speak out against that.
Well, the problem is the whole thing is basically a great example of how they misused everything she said from the start. Like the one that I think that they were talking about with the masks stuff had nothing to do with masks. It was a guy with a dollar bill taped to his mouth.
Yeah.
That's about not talking because of money. That has nothing to do with masks.
That's like, I'm under contract to not say anything. So
yeah. And then the same thing with the whole, trans thing to begin with. She never once said she had any problem with trans people, but now there was a whole,
the whole thing is this mob she saw she was doing nothing. They suddenly go to her. Where's your pronoun? Where's your pronoun? Where's your pronoun? I was like, well, what? I'm not doing it. I mean, I'm not talking about this topic. I'm not saying anything. Where's your pronoun? Where's your pronoun? They're like, why aren't you writing all cops are bad? Why aren't you doing that? It's just like, where are you coming from, you crazy people? I'm just living my life. That is her reaction as a normal human being.
Right.
Like, why are you hassling me with your weirdo, like religious fanatical stuff? It's like some guy showing up at your door, knocking. Here, I got this holy book that you have to read. You have to read it. I was like, what's wrong with you?
Well, I'm going to posit something that obviously this is just speculation. Obviously, I have nothing to go on outside of what we all know. Who's to say that Gina ever was a conservative? Because this is something I've seen quite often.
Nothing is specifically conservative.
Well, she never anytime really. I mean, if you read into it, oh sure, you could if you wanted to.
To be fair, part of the fanatics went and they looked at her likes, and she likes some conservative people.
So
big deal. Anyone who goes through my likes will find that I've liked some conservative people. I've also liked some liberal people, but she did. And people say, well, look, she's supporting this person.
That's the problem. At first, it wasn't so much, I think, that they thought she was anything of that sort as it was that she was listening to the wrong people. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. They don't want you to have any variety of thought.
Yeah.
And if you do, then they'll try and squash that real quick. And if you don't conform, and we've seen a lot of this in the few weeks, and it goes with the double standard of this whole thing in its face of like, it's okay if you're doing it on this other side, but how is it okay when what she's being accused of, she hasn't really done, but yet a ton of other people that work at Lucasfilm have, and nothing has been done about it. I think that's the part that bothers people most of all, is the hypocrisy. And to get back what I was talking about, her politics, not to get too deep into that, but I know one thing that pisses anybody off more than anything when it comes to politics is if somebody, let's just say, for instance, calls you a Trump supporter and you don't support Trump, not all they did was piss that person off who could have been a possible ally if you would have just had a conversation with them instead of jumping to a conclusion. And I think that's more where Gina's coming from, because let's face it, most people in Hollywood are either left-leaning or they pretend to be, just so what, Kamran? So they don't get.
I'm sure your voice cut out. What was?
They pretend to be left, so what doesn't happen, Kamran?
Yeah, just pretend to conform. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that there is a religion in Hollywood. There has always been sort of a progressive general point of view. You've got to generally be within that frame, right? But in the last 4 or 5 years, it has become an actual religion with deep emotional attachment to it. And if you in any way deviate, you begin to be seen as, you're not seen as a conservative. You're seen actually as a Nazi. You are seen as a fascist, and you become literally someone who is going to destroy humanity. And so I, who have a lot of conservative views on a lot of issues, have found myself increasingly, because I can't keep my mouth shut, I found myself increasingly targeted in my private life. I mean, I'm not as prominent as Gina, and thankfully in some ways, I don't want the mobs have largely not come after me. But in my private life, people in my professional life, people know about my views. And, on one level, they have to pretend to like me because I'm a minority, right? But on another level, they'll say all the nice things, but when it comes to hiring time, they're like, oh, that guy, I don't want that guy, right? Yeah, he's good for it, I don't want him. And so I've experienced it directly in my life. And so it is going up against the Inquisition. It's literally 1492 right now.
And we also learned from this article, the one thing I do believe is that this went way up to the top, I guess. But to me, that still shows like real chicken shit how this story was basically leaked to the press or put into the press with the Lucasfilm spokesperson. That bothered me. What did you think of that, Jeff?
Well, I was with you on the stream when it was on Drunk's 3PO stream when the story broke, because somebody was in the comments, and then Culture Casino brought it up, and then that happened. The first thing I had heard of it, I was like, well, this... As soon as I saw the sources where it came from, I went, this sucks. This is a dark story. And then we found out, the next morning, well, I found out the next morning everything that went down. But, you talk about where this is at the top and all this stuff. I agree that this is a bigger thing than just, your average whatever, because look at Walmart. Walmart is clearancing out Cara Dune stuff. It's in our newest video. Mm-hmm. It's not just, we're sold out to try to do whatever. This is a store. They're just cutting prices to run and get rid of it. I mean,
I heard that's coming down from the top. Same thing with the Hasbro thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, none of this is economics. None of this is all, this is communism. This is the big bosses saying this is what you're going to do with the market, right?
I've never seen Star Wars have this happen to it. You've had George Lucas who went, they don't like Jar Jar as much. So, yeah, Jar Jar breaks the fourth wall in episode 2, but he has a much smaller role. Subsequent film, he's barely in it at all. My point is, usually the market would dictate what is popular enough to get made. That's why, no matter how much Disney wanted to, Rose Tico didn't come back for Rise of Skywalker merchandise. Same thing with a lot of these characters. And that's why I made the video the way I did. It's like, this is the one everyone across the board was ready to buy into. Put it like this, the Mandalorian characters felt like classic Star Wars characters. It wouldn't have been weird to see Cara Dune and Han Solo stand next to each other on your shelf. Sure. Rey and Han Solo, even though they shared screen together, still doesn't fit. But I don't know. It's kind of scary. It's like nothing could be sacred, no matter how much you want to support it at times.
The problem with this is the inevitable moment that was coming when you have a house divided. Jon Favreau was brought in to get Star Wars back on track and make them a profit, right? And he was in the process of doing that. The problem is they didn't have the political courage to do what needed to be done, which is clean house and remove Kathleen Kennedy and who I call the flying monkeys, right? That entire division of people making the high Republic garbage and all that other stuff that nobody wants, right? But that division of extreme political weirdos that were sidelined but were not removed. And one of the great mysteries, and I've asked people in Hollywood this, why is Kathleen Kennedy still there? It's not just about, well, she's a powerful woman and it's politically difficult, right, to remove her. If you remember, there was when things were not working out for the Disney parks, they fired a powerful woman who was at least blamed for what was happening with the Disney parks, right? So they will remove a woman if it's not making it person. So it ultimately comes down to the kind of power she's got, the level of relationship she has, which is, she worked for Steven Spielberg for decades, right? I don't think she and George Lucas have a good relationship now, so that's not really a connection she's got. But she literally knows where the bodies are buried. She's one of the people that is in the inner circle of this town that knows all the shady stuff that, if it ever got out, would ruin people's lives and would have people in jail. And I'm not exaggerating that way. That's the feedback I get from people. It's like, man, who knows what she's got in her safe on these people? It's not a normal situation, right? It's literally people like, man, it's not like she's going to claim I was Me Too. It's really like, you want me to release that CD from the party? You want me to do that? That's what we're facing.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. She knows where the bodies are. She knows who fucked who and who did what and where and why.
Does she know who shot JR?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was all a dream.
Yeah, as it said.
No, that was Bobby. Bobby was killed in a car accident and came back. JR was shot by Sue Ellen's sister.
Yeah, Sue Ellen.
They don't have big events on TV anymore. I know the internet has changed things, but it's like, oh, so-and-so showed up at WandaVision. That's cool, but like, the world didn't stop like it did back then.
Well, WandaVision, I feel like, suffered from this too. That's the thing that we haven't touched on too much now. But like my joy and appreciation, because even though you said it earlier, Marvel ain't got nothing on the. Actually, they've got a lot on the way. We've got Tobey Maguire coming back as Spider-Man. We've got the X-Men. We got Fantastic Four. All these things that are in the works. Blade. So there's good possibilities for things coming out of Marvel. But my care just went out the fucking window, and it all has to do with just like this fucking picture here. This is it. This is where my care and expanded beyond Star Wars. Because guess what, folks? Like a lot of people in this fandom, the only thing that was keeping me hanging on to Star Wars right now was that damn baby and Gina Carano. Because I hate Pedro. Yeah. And I don't give a shit about anything else in the show. In fact, I've said it a million times. Timothy Olyphant should have been the damn Mandalorian at this point, as far as I'm concerned. He's a better actor.
He's got the swagger for it. And but the thing is this, the cartoon is wrong. It's the other way around. The way it's going to play out is Gina pressing the button and Disney being flushed out the window. I really think this is a moment. This is a black swan event that Hollywood is not understanding what is about to come. This will lead to massive financial crisis for Lucasfilm and Disney at a moment where Disney cannot survive financial crisis after what it went through last year. This is a disaster beyond their understanding. And it's going, this is going to sound crazy, but it's not crazy. I would not be surprised if Disney goes into Chapter 11 within a few years because of this event sets things into motion.
Well, between this and it's like, I think everything without getting political with saying that, yes, this is all affecting everything. Everybody's done. We're all fed up. We're tired of hearing about it. We're tired of the fucking tug of war between the studios and the crazy culture of people who just want to convert you to their religion, basically. We're tired of it. We have our own thoughts. We have our own minds. We're not all a bunch of stereotypes. Yeah. We all don't have to conform to this modern day mindset that the studios are really, really pressing, and they're seeing people turn off of sports ball and the Super Bowl and the basketball games. Like people are just so sick to death of this.
Well, you're
shit.
right, Mecca. Like, I was listening to
you tell us this is why we fired this lady, then you know what? Fuck you, Disney. We're done with you. And you got half the country who says, you know what, we don't care. And another probably third on top of that who are just tired of being pushed over to that. Oh, well, I'm labeling you this affiliation because you didn't agree with my cult speak, because you didn't put a pronoun, because you didn't conform to this stupid ideology, because you're not focused on what's in between everybody's legs like a fucking psychopath. Like a pervert, basically.
Well, that actually brings me back to the earlier thing you raised about the Variety article about the new woman, Ms. Cohen, I think is her name, who was brought in. I did a quick look on her background, and God bless her. I don't know her. I've worked at Disney. I didn't cross paths with her. It's a huge organization, and apparently she's worked for Disney for many years and is given this position now. But looking at her background and the kind of stuff. I know this kind of role, which is the role that is the standard PR role of the industry, to say we've got someone who's going to cover diversity, because look, her background is like doing all those diversity things. The most hated moment in any TV writer's room is when there's two official seminars that the studio makes you go to as a writer on a TV show. The first seminar is the sexual harassment seminar, where you get there and it's the most uncomfortable thing, where you sit there and you're lectured, and then they're asked you can't just sit there and listen. They ask you to participate with stories about sexual harassment. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ, right? So that's one. Number two is the diversity training seminar, where you're sitting there, you're having people who are profound racists talking about diversity, and then when I'm the minority in the room, my temper is incredibly rising, because I know what they're saying is all a lot of bullshit, right? Because I've just witnessed it at my office the day before of how the minority assistant is being mistreated by the white liberal I voted for Biden person, right? And and so I'm sitting there, my temper fuming, because I'm like, I have to listen to this crap, this official PR. It's like it's reading the official religion, and you have to sit there and swear allegiance to it. And so she's part of the person that's been facilitating that kind of stuff for Disney for years. So you know what this is. This announcement I believe this announcement is all about Gina Carano. It's all about, we're gonna take care of PR problems from now on because we've got our official person who handles that. And it's not gonna work, because it's just an old flackery that the audience doesn't care about. The people that are supporting Gina don't care about whatever gobbledygook she puts out.
Well, we keep referencing this photo and stuff in this show. I wonder what Disney's going to do with The Mandalorian. Baby Yoda went off with Luke Skywalker.
Nobody cares.
Gina Carano has been taken off the show. There are a lot of people that are canceling Disney Plus. Not enough that are going to, tank the subscription service or anything like that. But Star Wars just rebranded itself as The Mandalorian across the board. This isn't me going, oh, I saw a sign one time. No, this is all of its representation for months throughout different businesses, not just at a Target, not just at a Disney store. It's across the board. They've never done this. Even back in the day with Shadows of the Empire, their big, expansive crossover event. There was the Power of the Force 2 main line, and Shadows of the Empire was this little subline. So this is all to spite themselves. And I see people in the chat trying to come up with stuff to justify it, but you really just can't.
Guys, I think our Taco Bell might have actually killed someone.
Seriously?
There's an ambulance right outside the Taco Bell across the way.
Oh, wow.
You're not joking? That's actually real. Okay, all right. Okay.
That's serious.
Possibly two ambulances.
Let's go to the video.
That's
Now, I did want to bring up Adrian Vergara's comment on screen. That's okay.
It's like Taco Bell actually did it. Damn.
He says, "Hi everyone. I've got a thought, and I want to get your opinion on it. Is it possible Gina's firing was Kathleen Kennedy's and Lucasfilm's way of derailing Favreau and Filoni, giving them the finger for not towing the company line?"
Yeah, of course it was. I mean, but it was they've been planning to dethrone Favreau for at least a year. Everything he's done has humiliated them. And they've constantly tried. Like when he got this incredible moment of the Luke Skywalker and the global reaction, right? And then what is it? Pablo Hidalgo a few days later comes out and starts a stupid drama, with a YouTube blogger, right? For crying, right? And so Star Wars Theory, that was done on purpose to try to deflect the conversation. It was stupid. It blew up in his face. This one was the golden thing that they were waiting for. If I had been able to advise Ms. Carano before she had put out that particular post, I would have said, don't do it, because anything relating to World War II, anything that can be labeled as talking about the Holocaust, anything that can be labeled as anti-Semitic is the red line in the industry. They will tolerate everything else, particularly anti-Muslim crap, because I deal with that every day, right? Particularly Islamophobia, they will support it and they'll put it out there. But when it's that particular issue, they will cut you off at the knees. Only a miracle can bring you back. Mel Gibson pulled off a miracle. Mr. Gibson actually said anti-Semitic things, really bad anti-Semitic things. He was drunk and what was in his heart came out, and he said some really bad things that are false generalizations of an entire group of people. And he was canceled. Then he kept making so much money, they uncanceled him. That's his ability to do it, right? But most people can't survive that. And I would have told her, don't do this topic. They will crucify you, and that's what they did. But she's resurrected now, to use as a Muslim using Christian analogies. She's resurrected now. Not even 3 days later, within 24 hours, she was resurrected.
To bounce off you, Adrian, I hope that's not the case. But look, if you now have proof that they don't give a shit if something makes you a bunch of money, come on. They don't care. Kamran knows what's up. I don't even need to reiterate anything.
They don't care. I mean, Miss Kennedy doesn't care. Of course, she would have loved it had her vision been the big money maker, and she was drunk on what happened with the Force Awakens, and she was irritated when Last Jedi didn't make as much money as whatever they claimed. They didn't expect it to make less than $2 billion, or at least they made it expected to make more than the first one. And then she was irritated by the failure of Solo and everything else, and then even more irritated with Favreau gets everything back financially. So she doesn't care about money. She cares about her. She's invested herself in promoting this ideology. There was no reason to. I don't necessarily even know that she believes any of it, because all these people I meet in Hollywood are hypocrites. They don't believe a word of this woke stuff. But she's, for whatever reason, I guess because it was linked to Mr. Trump, this was her way of being, I'm fighting Mr. Trump. And that's a huge trophy in Hollywood. So she's emotionally invested in this agenda that I don't particularly think she believes in privately.
Kamran, I also think it's really interesting how, you really hit the nail on the head with the hypocrisy in what you said about your own experiences about Hollywood buying into this religion, and really that, I'll always joke, I'll say, people need to get over this narrative. The Jews run everything. We don't run the world. We don't, but Hollywood, yeah, we do totally still run that. And it is very true. And I mean, it must feel very glaring.
That community is common in this industry. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the hypocrisy must feel very glaring when the social justice narrative is the prevalent narrative, is very pro-Muslim and pro-Palestine and all that stuff. But, in the industry where you're working in
Hollywood, it's not. Hollywood, it stops there on that issue.
Well, that's the thing, is it supposedly is. If you go to the college campuses and whatnot, that's where it is. But then in the industry that's purportedly, supporting that same narrative, you're still getting it one way, because it's really not about ideological soundness or morality. It's really about who you want to appease, which talking points you've bought into. There's no, consistency or morality to it whatsoever.
No, you've just hit the absolute issue. There is no consistent morality to it. This is a groupthink, and everyone is looking at each other saying, "What am I supposed to say? What are they thinking?" And they all try to stay within a general bubble of what seems to be working, right? And I showed up as this, as this Muslim guy, and I don't really. Before, I used to keep my personal beliefs about everything quiet, because I didn't want to agitate people. But people then projected onto me whatever they thought I stood for, and they didn't like it. So I was like, all right, well, then if you're going to project onto me, let me just at least say what I actually do believe. But yeah, that's where this industry is. I mean, I'll give you an example. A very close friend of mine, very powerful producer, called me after the Gina Carano thing happened. A Jewish gentleman. He called me and said, look, I know exactly what she said. I know she did not intend anything anti-Semitic. I know and I actually agree with the underlying message that even though he is not particularly conservative, he said, I do believe we're getting to a place where people are being labeled, and that's creating a culture of hatred, right? I absolutely understand what she's trying to say. At the same time, she shouldn't have said it, and certainly shouldn't use that analogy. And I'm not going to defend her publicly because I don't want to sink on the ship. That's what he said to me. I'm not going to go down on her ship. So that's the town.
Sorry, I had to mute myself because of the traffic. I apologize. Tom Mecca, anything like?
I'm going to shut up now. You guys talk.
Sorry,
Taco Bell kill.
No, I was just saying I had to mute myself because of all the damn traffic outside. So sorry about the lag. Tom Mecca, anything you guys would like to add in terms of Gina Carano's stuff? I mean, she's not going to get recast. She's not going to be in the season.
I think this is it. I mean, there's a lot of people like, oh, is she going to come back? No. Even if they were to like come crawling to her to come back, do you think she would? Probably not.
Well, no, she's gonna be working for Ben Shapiro of all people for her own producing, directing, writing. I mean, like she's gonna have so much more back end money like coming into her that she can just take whatever pittance that Disney was paying her, and she can be the hottest commodity. She can be like, the next Sylvester Stallone or somebody. She can be the next big huge name who does all their own behind the scenes sort of stuff. I mean, there's no reason why she shouldn't and wouldn't be using this to her advantage, because this is a fighter. Like that's her profession.
She's a fighter. She's a winner. That's the amazing.
She's a winner. She's a champion.
She really didn't make that much off of Star
She never
Wars.
loses.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, the amount is decent, but like she really, she made $40,000 to $50,000 an episode.
That's what that article had listed.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like she was getting paid the big bucks.
Yeah, $500,000.
Not even.
Yeah, I mean, that's
what she made overall. Maybe if she's lucky.
Yeah, she wasn't in all 10 episodes, right? So she's probably like $200,000-$300,000 maybe at most, right? And so, if this thing with Mr. Shapiro works out well, I think it will. She will, and you're right, she's gonna get a back end that because they're trying to launch their studio. She's now become the face of their goal, right? And so they're gonna give her a huge portion of that, right? Because she is the face of this. Nobody cares about Ben Shapiro outside of the political conservative world. She's gonna bring this studio what they want, and she's gonna make bank on this. The only thing I would say to her is, while I'm very conservative on many things, I don't agree with Mr. Shapiro on a lot of things. And I would just urge her to be cautious of whatever story he wants to put in her, because otherwise, I would be very sad if Gina Carano was the movie ends up being, a Chuck Norris film from 1982 where she's out killing dudes with turbans, right? Yeah. I mean, that might be what Mr. Shapiro wants to do. I hope she doesn't do that.
I hope not either. That's one thing I've said, and I don't think so, because from what I've gathered from his statements, it doesn't sound that way. But like that's what I've said. I hope it's not too much in the other direction. Like that's the last thing we need is, the same problems, just different politics. It's like that's the whole problem in the first place is we have too many politics in these movies. And Shapiro was one of those who come out and did a scathing review of The Last Jedi and made a lot of those similar points. So I do feel like that's kind of the goal, hopefully. And they just want to make movies for everybody. Not just one side or the other.
Without a spin. Is that sad that the very, very conservative people are now the ones making the movies or trying to get the entertainment that is for everyone, that is actually diverse and is actually accepting? Because so much when you get all this propaganda stuff, it's like, and it's for everybody who only thinks our certain way in our mindset. And if you aren't one of us 100%, then you're just a filthy supporter of re. And like, okay, no. Fine, I won't watch your crap, or I'll riff it and make fun of it and mock it like I would one of these religious movies from like a decade ago. Mm-hmm. And that's like what I made the comparison the second I saw Kevin Sorbo got banned from Facebook, and I'm like, oh, those God's Not Dead movies, those are fake, those are exaggerations. Like that's what we're not supposed. Like that's like a weird little crazy Christian version of like reality, just to kind of like exaggerate their story of their religion, which is fine, nothing wrong if you believe that. But we weren't supposed to be, like the people weren't supposed to be actually censoring and banning and demonizing and making it so you can't say Merry Christmas. I mean, that wasn't like supposed to. That was like, I thought we all were aware of the joke that the God's Not Dead movies and those religious movies were kind of exaggerated.
It became tolerance for me, not for thee.
Well, I mean, I've had conversations with my Christian friends in the industry, and they're embarrassed by those movies. They're like, this isn't the kind of storytelling we want to make, and they're devout Christians. They're like, and the God's Not Dead. And I think it was, I don't know, it was the first or second one. They had the Muslim villain who was beating his daughter or whatever. I was like, whatever. But my Christian friends in the industry are like, look, man, there's nobody making stuff for us, and this is the crap that people are making, right? Mel Gibson was the only one who made something for us, and a lot of people were offended by that, and so whatever. So,
and they're trying to recancel him now again. So
again,
what happened?
He had a little bit of success with Batman, so he's got to get recanceled again.
Well, the thing is this, and I've said this: he does have an anti-Semitism problem. I think it's fair.
Yeah. Kind of.
He does. He's multiple times, whenever he's gotten drunk, said some really bad things. Has said some really bad things. And even I'm a Muslim, and I'm like, that's not right, man. You can't say that. That's not morally right to say these kinds of things about an entire religion. It's wrong. And this is who he is when he's drunk. Was in vino veritas. The truth of who you are is revealed when you're drunk. And this guy has been uncanceled because he keeps making money. And Gina Carano, I don't think thinks like him. She doesn't share that kind of bigotry, and he has it. And this town will keep on canceling it.
Now, Cameron, I know you're going to be here you're not leaving just yet. There are
I got about 20 minutes. About 20 minutes. So if that'll be okay.
Cool. There were a couple super chats that were directed at you. I wanted to make sure I got to read those, so I didn't leave anyone hanging out there. So, folks, just give me a moment. I guarantee we'll go through everyone tonight, so do not worry. Let's see. We have from your Muslim uncle who says, "Happy birthday, Mecca. Hail Jeff, Tom, Kong, and Salam Alaikum, WRWB to City Kamran." It says, Rajab Mubarak. I hope Mecca gets some entertainment she wants. I apologize for butchering any words I butchered, folks. I
actually get ironic entertainment when watching crap like Batwoman. So that's actually kind of the fun bad one that I watch. I just watch everything like I'm in the audience of Mystery Science Theater or something where I just rip into it anymore.
Well, the tragedy of Batwoman is there's this lovely new actress that they brought on, and they're giving her this ugly suit. Well, I mean, I don't watch a show, and all I've seen is the first promo I saw. The suit is ugly. Why are you giving this beautiful woman this ugly suit? And again, it's a black woman gets the leftover. She gets the leftover role, gets a leftover characterization, and gets a crappy suit. That's the industry, and these are the people that are saying they're woke.
And she's a drug addict in a van she's a homeless drug addict who blames all of her problems on white people, even though and in the show it disproves her whole point with, it's like, no, it's because they're related. That's why they keep letting her go, because that's the daughter.
Yeah.
Not because
that's I've had these conversations on TV shows where I've actually said, I think why are we doing this, the African American character this way? Why are we doing the Latino character this way? It's actually really stereotypical and racist. And they get really, really, really uncomfortable because they see themselves as, I voted for Obama. How could you even say that? I'm like, yeah, but why are your minority characters always garbage? And being a minority, I can say it. It doesn't get me rehired, And usually I'll survive one season of a show, and then I become the troublemaker for saying stuff like that. But because I feel like I am obligated to say it, I'm like, why are we doing this? This character can be better than this. And the truth is, they don't want to make the character better than that because in their heart of hearts, they believe minorities, particularly Black people, are inferior to them.
That's so infuriating. That is so infuriating. I'm like, how is it that you think that everybody is a, like in a underprivileged, no income, illiterate? How are you thinking these things? When I see what people will say on Twitter about entire groups of people, I'm like, how are you seeing this? How do you think this? How do you think so little of these people that you and I don't want to get into so much.
Yeah, but again, I just want to say Batwoman. It makes me sad because you have whatever drama happened first season. You've got a new actress. Do her right. They didn't do her right.
I mean, it's like they try, but like instead of making her a homeless character, maybe make her like some street smart. Maybe make her some special investigator. Maybe make her FBI coming in to tell these crows that they all suck or something, and make her even better and more amazing than everybody else.
Well, the funny thing is, we've gone from the token the police captain always has to be a Black woman. We've gone from that to now the Black woman has to be a homeless junkie. We're getting further and further down the tokenism.
It's just like, and there's no way to appease the woke crowd who are always going to be offended by something.
And they're not watching it. Watching it. They don't even know what's happening. They haven't watched a single episode of Batwoman. They don't know what's happening on the show.
And if they did, I mean, it's actually kind of entertaining in a lot of ways. It's not as terrible. It's like, it's pretty bad. It's really stupid. But I mean, I think the more that they make it, like I keep saying, just make it over the top cartoon 19, like make it like the 60s show. Make it know and be aware that it is this fun, stupid superhero show. Why can't we have that?
Darian217, thank you very much. He says, Cameron, as my old coworker said, the company existed before you. The company will be here after you. There's no point in sticking your neck out or caring about the company and making money, as they say. So,
well,
Darian217 agrees with you.
That is the philosophy. I'm not so sure Disney will stick around after this. That's a big thing to say, that an entire corporation that's been center of entertainment for over a century will just go down like that. And I think it will. I think the next 5 years, we're going to see this is the beginning of something. It's going to snowball into something that's going to get out of control.
We also have one from our friend Super Smash Brothers candidates. It says, Mr. Pasha, in your first apparition on the High Council, you said all weird things were going on in the entertainment industry is due to the past U.S. elections. The same can be said about the video game industry? ?
Well, I don't regrettably follow the video game industry well. I have written a video game for 50 Cent, and I've actually never played my own game, but people really like it. So I'm not an expert in the video game community, and so I wouldn't be surprised based on my friends who are always posting stuff in my timeline about video game stuff. It's the same thing. I do think there's more resistance to the video. I think Mecca and others here play video games a lot. I think there's more resistance. This whole Gamergate thing, revealed that there was a large resistance to this woke crap, and it was more publicized, whereas we in the Star Wars stuff, we were always pushed to the side as these weirdos that don't like The Last Jedi, but we ended up having the effect. But I think the gamer people are more openly vocal. Am I wrong or am I right?
You wrote Blood in the Sand, the 50 Cent game?
That's right. I
remember that game in magazines way back in the day. So
I played my own game, but
I don't really the gaming stuff. God, I guess it goes way back. I mean, even before he would be the president. So yeah, that's where I stand.
That was the canary in the coal mine. Someone said that to me once. Video games are the canary in the coal mine of where the industry is trying to push culture. That's what I've been told. I think that's fair.
Just a lot of people that make really bad games these days. So where are the visionaries? Where are the Miyamotos?
50 Cent, hire me again. When 50 Cent Blood in the Sand came out, it sold like 4 million units or something like that, something really high. And then I was like, hey, where's my residual check? Like, oh, no, with that little check we gave you to pay, that's it. You're not getting a piece of this. I'm like, that kind of sucks. 50 Cent's getting all of it. I was like, all right, fine, whatever.
I mean, I would have been like, yo, he just got that vitamin water money. Not fair. Also, let's see, because YouTube has a stupid back end problem. So, folks, this is taking me slightly longer. I think we might be caught up on anything directly related to you, Cameron. So, I have a question before you do have to head out. The Rian Johnson trilogy, the news of that.
Never going to happen. Never going to happen. I do think someone posted this on my Twitter, and I think it's right. I think this was actually re-announced yet again as part of Kathleen Kennedy's victory lap. I think she's having a victory lap right now where it's like, I've beaten Gina Carano. I've taken down Favreau. There's rumors that Favreau is going to potentially cancel the Rangers thing. There's all that stuff, right? She's taking her victory lap as she put her little protege dude back out there. But nobody wants this crap. Disney knows nobody wants this crap. They're already reeling from this Gina Carano thing that they didn't expect. They do expect Mr. Johnson's trilogy. If you ever were to give another movie in Star Wars, they do expect it to fail. They know it's going to fail. So they don't expect Carano, the backlash. They expect this. So that's just hot air talk and a victory lap that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think there'll ever be a Rian Johnson, another Star Wars film from Rian Johnson. Broom Boy or Boat Boy or whatever the hell we called him. He's a relic of the past, thankfully.
Yeah. So again, I don't even know what's going to happen to the Mandalorian universe at this point.
What about a Broom Boy murder mystery?
Can Don Johnson be in it?
Yes.
And I liked that movie he did, Looper. I liked it. If I wasn't so angry about The Last Jedi, I would have gone to see this murder mystery. People who saw it liked it. I just wish he hadn't put his finger and his agenda into Star Wars, because otherwise I find him to be an entertaining director.
It's been over 4 years. The shit ain't happening.
Yeah.
He can pretend it's going to happen, but
no, it wasn't announced with the rest of the stuff. You've got what the accolade show. You've got all the High Republic crap that they're throwing all their stuff into, and they see that the High Republic isn't doing jack. They see nobody likes it. Oh yeah, you can show off your little bestseller list to your investors who know better. Yeah. It's like, if they don't know better, then I think they should. And then shame on them. They deserve to lose their billions. Mm-hmm. But like, if you really break it down, they know not a one of us who hated The Last Jedi will go and give Rian Johnson a second shot. None of us are. Not a one of us. Like in chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you'll go see this. If you go see a Rian Johnson movie, just to give him a second shot. And a 2 if you say fuck you, Rian Johnson. And we will never go see another Rian Johnson Star Wars movie. He can make all the knives out and whatever he wants.
Yeah, and God bless him. Like I say, he's a talented guy. But just do what you're good at.
2s overwhelming. I saw 2 1s. So 2 people will be fair.
All right, okay.
But it's perfectly fair to say fuck you too, because the last one was terrible. I would say.
Oh yeah, what are we supposed to? Why are we supposed to be the turn the other cheek crowd? We were called man babies and terrible things. You don't get our $15,
right?
No more.
Oh, he's the last person anybody's going to go see one of their films. Yeah. When it comes to Star Wars,
yeah, pretty much 1,300 people right here, give or take, say no.
By the way, folks, if you could hit that thumbs up button to let us know that you enjoy this, we get a Good Morning Pop Culture next week. I have good news. I extended that offer to the folks over on the podcast this week, and we reached that goal. So this Friday at, 10 a.m. Pacific, we'll have one of those. And if you do that again, we'll have one the following week. Even if you don't care, do it for somebody else. A lot of people like that show.
Look, I ain't no good at math, but I'll look at it this way. If we've got close to 1,000 people watching, or that said a bunch of 2s, let's give the bias of the crowd. We'll give them 3%. So that means that that the Rian Johnson trilogy will make less than Solo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because shit. I mean, and again, I'm just.
We at least gave Ron Howard the benefit of the doubt for the most part.
Yeah,
and it wasn't his fault.
And he's a good filmmaker. And again, I haven't watched Solo because I was so angry about Last Jedi. But my friends who watch it, it's fine. It's a fine
piece of shit. I don't care what anybody says. It's a piece of shit.
It was two different movies. It was like half of one movie and half of another movie.
Well, that's what you do when you splice together literally 2 different movies.
Yeah. And you could tell he did the best he could, I think, with the time. And
he was in a look. I mean, if Ms. Kennedy did not have a safe full of secrets of Hollywood, she should have been let go right after that disaster. I've never in my career heard about a movie being 70 to 80% completed and then the producer going, "Oh, this is what I want." Every show I've worked on, you get the call after the first night's dailies. What are you guys doing? Where is this going? Right. And you don't go 80% of the way into the movie and then fire the directors and refilm the whole thing. That shows utter incompetence as a producer. And beyond
88 days. That's how long they went. 88 days.
They cheered when Benioff or not Benioff and Weiss. What are their names? Lauren Miller were fired. They cheered when they were fired. From what we heard from somebody on set.
Who cheered when they were fired? The people on the set?
The people on set. The people on set. All cheered, like the crew. The cast and the crew cheered when they were let go.
I don't know that that's true. I don't know that I buy that. They're really competent, those 2 guys. And, I just don't know that that's true. That's the official story. I remember reading that, but I don't know that that's true. That feels like Kennedy propaganda.
Well, I don't know who had that as an official story. We heard that from somebody specifically. But
okay, that's fair enough. I mean, then maybe they really screwed up. How did they get that far into the film to screw it up?
Yeah, this was somebody on the other end of that, though, too. So, that can be
who was personally hired by Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
So that person has their own, allegiances.
To a point. I'll tell you in the private chat here.
That's fine. We don't need to go any further. Maybe they screwed it up. Maybe they did. I would have liked to see what they did. you know.
Well, Cameron, you always bring up about Kathleen Kennedy and the secrets. I think we actually have a picture of where she keeps all of her secrets right here. There's a shitty joke, folks.
There we go. There we go. Top men. Checking the secrets.
What? I really, really, really don't want them to make another Indiana Jones movie. Please.
No, it was. I mean, to follow up The Last Crusade with that next one was like, why would you do this? The Last Crusade was such a wonderful way to end this whole franchise.
Oh yeah. Literally rode off into the sunset, but
Spielberg kept saying that.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
That's the only way I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he may have walked away, without any hard feelings with Kathy. Was like, George is not going to be involved. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't need to be here. I didn't really want to do the last one anyway. Mm-hmm. That may be true, but otherwise, it's not a good look.
Yeah, and the thing is, as someone who cares, anyone who follows my Twitter feed knows I post about aliens and stuff like that and have my own beliefs about that. That idea is interesting, but it's not an Indiana Jones movie.
No, because it actually goes against the first three films.
Yeah.
Because the first three films are all about religious artifacts. And as soon as you put in aliens,
you hit the issue there. Those films were made at a time when people actually cared about what the audience wanted. Each of those films, one was about Judaism, one was about Hinduism, one is about Christianity, right? No, there's no Islam, but whatever. So that's the way it is. And then in this current generation, they're like, we can't talk about God, right? Because that's the agenda of the people I work with who are very atheistic, right? And now I feel that they have to educate people about that, so they have to take it to aliens.
Yeah, and Spielberg was not on board with that. Sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I can't believe that was the fucking fourth movie. The space between spaces and all that dumb
and
crap.
George pushed that script for years because it leaked online. I remember reading it, and I'm like, I hope they don't go. and they finally changed it from aliens to interdimensional beings, and Spielberg's like, fine, whatever. You could tell he just didn't give a shit. That movie has zero fucks to give in it.
Well, I know none of the characters behave the way they're supposed to, and there was that buddy that turned into his enemy. That their dynamic was weird, and he kept going from buddy to enemy throughout the whole movie.
I hated that character. I actually did a list of 10 of the worst characters in cinema history, and Max is on there because he's one of the most pointless characters to the point where I don't even think he knows by the end of the movie what side he's on. I think that's his name, Max or whatever it was, or Mac.
Yeah, and all of those movies work with a very clear villain, right? And Cate Blanchett is fine, but you didn't really care about her. You need the villain makes those movies.
No, she was too much of a cartoon.
Yeah.
What was her name? Irena Spalko, Stalin's fair-haired girl. I think that's exactly how she's introduced.
Yeah, basically what Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull remind me of like, okay, if we got an animated version of Indiana Jones, this would probably be it. And this is basically what we would get if George Lucas directed an Indiana Jones movie, probably. Not to dump on George, but yeah.
Well, George has his strengths and he's got his weaknesses.
It feels like it was backseat directed by George.
It feels more like the prequels than it does.
That's why I say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I keep talking about this George Lucas book I'm listening to, The Secret History of Star Wars, and it's interesting how early he had Indiana Jones. I just love hearing about that. And I mean, everyone knows the story of them on the beach, but that's stuff even before that this book has. And I'll give him credit. We can jump on George Lucas. We can make fun of this. We can make fun of all that stuff. But he did help give us some of these like forever characters. And sadly, as soon as someone else took over, they made it even worse. Like, people could say what you want about the prequels, and I've said a lot. They're still better than the Disney.
They gave him an expiration date, Jeff.
So what expiration date? What are you talking about?
They took characters that could last forever, and now Disney just gave them an expiration date.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they can go anytime. I'm not going to miss them at all.
I'm done with Star Wars.
I could be 100% wrong. I just think this thing is going to unravel over the next few weeks in ways that we cannot imagine. I don't know that we're going to see more of the Mandalorian universe. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen to Lucasfilm as a company. I think that they've unleashed a force that they do not understand, and they will understand it with each passing day, and it's going to scare them.
Yeah, well, there's more permeating rumors, and again, I'd stress this is rumors, and I know we don't like running too much with this, but the rumor is running around again that Pedro might even be done, or at least just doing voiceovers for season 3 now. And I wouldn't
really, for a while, right? We knew.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't put any stock into that, but now we've heard it before, and this is coming from I think a few more different places. So it's like, do you buy these rumors? I don't know. I don't care at this point. But my point I'm bringing it up for is, I really don't know if there's going to be, now that the baby's gone and with Gina gone, I wonder how much interest there is going to actually be in The Mandalorian season 3. And that's why I brought up that deal earlier, why Cobra Kai was number 1. I think that speaks to directly what you were saying, Cameron, is because the reason why Cobra Kai is so popular, besides just being on the biggest platform, is it doesn't bring any political agenda with it to the table.
Even more than that, it actually gives hidden social commentary about the woke world, because
without hitting you over the head with it.
Perspective, and he gets to comment on how silly a lot of our politically correct culture is, because he's the villain and the jerk, and he gets to put that in a humorous way. But it makes a commentary.
Well, yeah, I brought it up before. He's the Archie Bunker of the story. Like, he's the lovable jerk. He's not right, and we know that, and that's why we laugh at what he's saying, but we also care about him because we know he doesn't mean any malicious intent behind it.
But that's the whole thing, is that you get to, when he makes his comments, those of us who don't like where woke culture is going can identify with him and laugh with him, even if he's supposedly the villain, right? And that allows us to let it out, so you don't feel like the show is against you.
Absolutely. And then on the other side of it too, you also, and they ignore this, and that's where they started coming after it since it is so popular now, it does have a very diverse cast.
Absolutely.
In fact, your lead actor besides Johnny and Daniel is Miguel, who's played by oh God, I forgot his name now.
Was he Peruvian?
Yeah, he's Peruvian, but I just remember his name and I just blanked it out. Well, Paulie's gonna kill me.
But it is a naturally diverse cast, and it's like what Shazam was. Shazam was a naturally diverse cast. You never even thought about it. You just went with these characters and you liked them all, right? So this is a naturally diverse cast, and the great thing about it is that the heroes become villains.
That's his name.
And next week the villains become the heroes, and and there's no such thing that you can't let the minority kid. I think the characters from Ecuador, I think, but you can't let Miguel. Miguel has to be the good guy because he's a Latino, right?
But they don't also make a big deal out of it either. Like the fact that he is. And then the same thing with the rest of the cast that is mostly made up of non-white actors, but they don't sit there and make a big deal out of it. And you're right. Like, they do poke a little fun at woke culture, but at the same time, they have fun at the other's expense too. It's very well balanced, and that's what's great about it. And, Mandalorian had that, and I think they just lost it.
Well, they can't fix it. I'm sorry.
Well, no, let's play around with that for a minute. Let's live in the world where the Mandalorian doesn't really do much more. We have the Book of Boba Fett coming out. The Mandalorian already got pushed back to December, and it was supposed to drop. They usually drop in October, so it's going to be that weird window. Look, I don't know anything. I'm not going to act like it's going to get canceled just because.
Right. I don't think it will,
but I think we live in a situation where without Baby Yoda and now her. Really, it's Baby Yoda what I think will kill this show. Nothing to do with like the merchandising is so important to what they do. I mean, they milk the shit out of it. Now that character's gone with Luke, there's never going to be a world where the Mandalorian goes and fights Luke Skywalker and goes and rescues him.
The only way to do it is he's got to go join Luke on wherever training planet he's on, right? And he becomes the protector, and we learn about the Jedi from the Mandalorian's point of view. That's what I would do, because you're right. The show isn't about the Mandalorian. It's probably one of the reasons Pablo is so pissed off. Is it's not about him. It's about that puppet, right? I finally watched the show after I saw Luke was back. I refused to give Disney $1 after The Last Jedi. I wouldn't give them $1 for anything. I wouldn't pay for Disney Plus for 2 seasons. Mandalorian came and went. I wouldn't watch it. When I heard Luke was back, I subscribed that day, and I binge watched all of it, and I really liked those 2 seasons, right? But it's Baby Yoda. I was drawn to Baby Yoda. I'm like, this is the character I care about, and this is the star of the show. And
so it was the heart of the show, really.
For me, it was a star of the show. I didn't, because and I think he's a good actor. He's a good actor, but anybody honestly can play that. Anybody who's got swagger can play that role. You could get a stuntman playing him the entire season, and his voice is not that distinct that you even know that it's him speaking.
I agree. And Darian, you're right. They lost 2 of their 3 main guns, and their third gun would not be Pedro. No. It would be Carl Weathers, because as Cameron just pointed out, Pedro's easily replaceable. Like, they don't ever have to take his mask off again.
Yeah, he's not played by a puppet. You don't need to take the mask off. You don't need him in there. He could be played by any random stunt guy. and that's it.
And that's because he's not. It's about the Star Wars universe, and he's the observer through it. So he becomes the audience, which is how they set that character up. So anybody can play the audience.
Yeah,
It'll be.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I would say it'll be telling to see. I mean, we've watched them basically just burn a bridge to prove a point, and if enough people complain, they'll just shit can this show too. I mean,
yeah,
they got Boba Fett coming out. And in many ways, Boba Fett, Mandalorian, well, whatever, Din Djarin or whatever, they're so similar, they might just go, well, we got this. We're going to do Boba Fett. That's what everyone wanted all along. Well, it's kind of like when Marvel got hold of Spider-Man. They're like, oh, he's always going to be a part of this. Not really.
The interesting thing to see is what they're going to do with Ahsoka, right? Because the actress has already been, there was an effort again, yet the same thing. And she actually made comments that people in the trans community, some people were hurt by, right? And so she was attacked before. Somehow they managed to cover it up because she just kept quiet, whereas Gina's out there, right? So Rosario Dawson, I don't know what's going to happen with Ahsoka.
Did she actually make any comments? I don't know if that she did.
My memory is that certainly some people in the trans community felt that.
What that went down with, I don't know if you know this, Cameron, was that what that stemmed from was a former assistant of hers was trans and got into a disagreement or an argument with her mother. And as far as I know, she may not have even been there from the court case, but they won the court case. She did the
correct, but he was, but it's not about victory or anything, nor is it about truth.
No,
right?
I know, but like as far as I know, I don't know if she ever said anything publicly about it. That's my point.
But she was implied. I mean, the story was out there that
right. Well, they just made it that way.
Will label you with that based on circumstantial evidence or just being around the vicinity of something, right? And so I've already heard the buzz saying we're going after her next. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I heard like there was something where the statement she made wasn't even transphobic. It was just she pissed off her housekeeper who happened to be transgender.
Was it a housekeeper? Okay.
Yeah, or some.
What it was is the housekeeper was accused of stealing shit.
Yeah, and that was offensive, and that was labeled as transphobic.
Yeah, you're targeting her because she's trans. And again, these are all guilty by association, guilty by logical leaps. That's what all of this is, right? But the people that pushed Gina out, they finally got their blood money, right? And now they're hungry for more. They won't stop. And I'm sure they're going to go after her. And the one person I feel sorry for is Mark Hamill, because I'm sure they have a Luke show in development. And now they're probably, this was his big comeback, right? And I don't know if that's ever going to happen now with Baby Yoda, because I think it's probably several shows down the line. And if the other shows like Ahsoka and Boba Fett don't work and Mandalorian fails, they're not going to get to Luke.
I don't think they'll get to Luke. It's almost good that this will all fall apart.
Mm-hmm. Say what? I don't think a Luke show was ever in the cards.
I don't think it was.
If I were them, I'd plan it after watching that reaction. I'm sure it was talked about, whether it was ever like greenlit in any way.
I mean, I can pitch one if you really want. But.
Well, if there was a situation, what I was going to say, Mecca, before you do, is they would have Luke pop up here and there, and maybe like in the Ahsoka show and a few other places, and maybe we'd get like a Baby Yoda cartoon that Luke would pop up in. But I just don't know if they could see them pulling off an entire Luke series. But go ahead, Mecca.
Trying to queue it up. I'm trying to queue it up. Like I actually, Robin, I made one.
Oh, you got an actual video. Gotcha.
I have to head out after I watch this because I apologize. I'm already a little bit late, but it's all good. I want to see.
Thanks for joining us, Cameron.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time, man.
Well, I hope the chat was good. So, Mecca, what you got? What you got?
All right. So screen sharing.
All right, here we go.
And
coming soon to Disney Plus, the Star Wars series you've been dying for, but one that Kathleen Kennedy wouldn't let see the light of day. But if it's successful, she'll try to take all the credit for it anyway. See everyone's favorite little green guy. No, not him. The other green guy. That's the one. As Unky Luke gives him uppies and they set off on the adventure of a lifetime. Don't miss Bringing Up Baby Yoda. Coming soon to Disney Plus. Hey, it's either this or Ram Jam Ram, okay?
Hey! It's my dinner! Don't do that.
That was good.
he goes burpees.
That's my dinner. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, so Robin, I kind of gave him, hey, I want this, and this, and then he made it better. So
It's good. It's good. All right, guys. Thank you all for having me on. I hope I was able to add some value for your audience, and it just means a lot to me that to come into your community. I'm a guy who sort of wanders in and wanders out, but thank you for inviting me.
Cameron, it's always a pleasure to have you, man. Thank you for joining us tonight on the High Council.
It's all good. Give my regards to Jesse. I don't know if she's still there with you, but please.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you, Cameron.
It's all good. All right, guys. God bless. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.
See ya. So I want to know what you guys think about. Do you think the High Republic is going to do anything? Because I see people in the chat laughing about it. That's so far off the radar now. Remember, it was barely scratching the surface. Do you think that's now a lost cause? Do you think fans will actually push back even harder against it? The ones that may have been curious.
Well, I think people are just going to ignore it. People are just going to, screw this. We're just going to go do something else. People are going to go back to video games or comic books or whatever. They're just going to say, Star Wars, we're done with you.
I think, me personally, it's just shit that Disney wants that they own doesn't interest me. I mean, we're getting to a situation where even the X-Men, if they're like, oh, we have the X-Men coming to Disney, it's like, all right, it's got to be good X-Men, because I can't sit through whatever the modern day equivalent would be. X-Men is already full of allegory for racism and this and that, and all these great, in quotation, progressive things you want to put in your films. X-Men has it. Don't make it heavy-handed. Until I can have proof that it's not, I can't get excited about it. I know it sounds very defeatist, but
no, and that's definitely, understandable, because I'm in the same boat. I'm glad that they're finally going to get to do some things, but I'm not sure what they're going to do yet. So, like you, I'm kind of like, we'll wait and see.
We have it partially, but I'm enjoying Star Wars properties that aren't about the Jedi and lightsabers. So hopefully the Book of Boba Fett. Well, I don't even pay for Disney Plus, so it's not like I'm supporting them, so it's not really a problem. But hopefully by the time we get to that show, it'll be, less lightsabery. I can deal with that, because every time you introduce a Jedi or a Force-sensitive character, you start to contradict Order 66 and the lore and all these other things, and we just want to wedge cool little moments in these little spaces to make sure everything's packed. But I think they make them... I think it hurts the entertainment, because we're always waiting to get to that next point. It's kind of like with all these shows. It's like, oh, it's awesome, but they still lead to The Last Jedi. So Rian Johnson screwed the pooch. They're never going to remake him, or he's never going to touch another movie. They're never going to do anything with him again. And now, I think Disney just across the board with the Star Wars brand, you can't sell it back. There's nothing to do with it. Just don't do much with it. Pump out video games, or just shut up, or re-release old shit that people like, and not, try to control the audience.
Yeah. I think that's it. Like, people, I'm so tired of being told, oh, well, you're a woman, so you have to like this, or this is a character for you. This is like, really, you think I look like that? Do you think I look like Ram Jamaram? I'm sorry.
Speaking of what you look like, I should show the audience the drawing. Should I show yours too, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
All right.
It's your stuff, man.
Well, first I'll show yours, Tom, because you're the easiest one to find. So, folks, let's have a chuckle at Salacious Tom, shall we? There you go. And then I will pull up mechas in a moment. But, folks, this is one of the stretch goals, one of the trading cards. So, the Fandom Menace represent. I've been showing little pieces here and there, talking about collabs with Anna. This isn't even that. This is just a little bonus thing. But today was Mecha's birthday, and I happened to get the artwork back. And I was like, what a perfect day to show it. So there's Tom's, and for some reason...
And I'm way cuter than Tom.
Absolutely.
Yes. I sent it to Jesse. Here we go. I will... there we go. I can pull this up here.
I just love that I'm a little rubber monster. I can dig that.
Now you just got to master the laugh, dude.
I can't get that high. I used to be able to when I was a kid.
Yeah, I can't get my voice that high either. It isn't for me. That's you again. Shit. All right, and here is Mecha. I feel like the audience is like, let's see Mecha, and I'm like, here she is. Oh wait, it's Tom again. There you go, Mecha. So you're like
cool?
There you go. So yeah, folks, just keep an eye out. Let me drop the link in the chat. We can let's see. There we go.
It just practically sings Loopy Newak.
There we go, folks. Sign up for that. Look for about 2 weeks to get for it to go live. So I just got to talk to Anna, make a couple things happen, and then boom. But I wanted to give you guys an update, and nobody really wants to see the card of me because it's essentially the Fandom Menace cover. So We'll show that at a little later date. But there you go, Mecha. There's your first official trading card.
That is so cool.
So let's see what the audience is up to, folks.
Yes.
So first off, let's see. Okay. I hate how YouTube screwed up this thing. Once it's all back to normal, I'll be a very happy man. But thank you, folks, for everything you guys are doing for us here on the channel. So we read Deadeye, we read Dead Eyes, we read Super Smash Bros. Candidates. All right, our friend AJ Journeyman says Disney's handling of Gina Carano's firing makes Eric Bischoff's termination of Steve Austin via FedEx look professional. So, folks, for those who don't understand that reference, Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of the most famous professional wrestlers of all time, but he was employed by another company where he was fired by FedEx because the guy, Eric Bischoff, didn't think he was worth the time to call or deal with. And about a year later, he would go off to the ECW, show up in the WWF, and then by 1998, they were just beating the WCW and they went out of business. So they fired the guy that put him out of business along with The Rock. So Deadeye says, I'll take a shot for your birthday, Mecha. Cheers.
Awesome. Cheers.
At first I was like, take you shot for shot. I was like, shit, that's a messy, sloppy night. Our friend Chris Black, thank you very much. He says, would you guys rather a Rian Johnson trilogy or a JJ trilogy?
You know, JJ had his fucking shot. And unfortunately, he could have possibly gave us a semi-decent trilogy, but he fucking didn't take it. He said, no, I'm going to do my one. And because really, I mean, we bring it up all the time. Yeah, Rian Johnson's to blame for destroying it, but it's JJ's fault for not sticking with it. He could have told his story to begin with. And for better or for worse, it could have at least been more coherent, I believe. I'm sure we've got a bunch more JJ-isms like, you know, light speed skipping and all that kind of crap, and they fly now and shit like that. But I feel like it would have been a much more coherent mess than what we got.
It's hard for me to say that either men delivered a Star Wars film that I would even consider fun or good. Mm-hmm. But I
don't think Ryan's capable of making a good one, Jeff.
You know what? I'm going to go Rian Johnson because at least it's going to be such a shit show that I'm going to have a good time laughing at it.
I'll accept that.
I have been on record for years. I hate The Force Awakens. I think, yeah, it's official. More than The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens the one that does it for me. The way everyone's like, oh, they ruined Luke. They did this. They did that. They did it to Han Solo, my favorite character. I know everyone gets emotional about, oh, Luke was my hero growing up. I liked Luke, but Han was cooler. He got the girl. He had a cooler ship. He had a cool sidekick. He won, or so we thought. So that is why The Force Awakens always pisses me off, because you watch this great rebel pirate become a hero, and then they just threw it all away because of Rey. Thank you.
No, I understand that totally.
Mecha, did you get the answer?
I don't remember what the question was.
Would you rather have a Rian Johnson trilogy or a JJ trilogy?
Oh, Rian Johnson, just because I can be more brutal, because I think he's a bigger jerk, so I think it'd be more fun. Just to rip on. I think it'd be more ridiculous and outrageous, and it would look better.
Your Muslim uncle, we read his. Thank you very much, because I wanted that to get back to Kamran. Chris Knight, thank you very much. He says, Batwoman for life. Jesse, weren't we on Chris Knight's show? If this is the same Chris Knight, last year, right?
Chris Knight, yeah. I think
with Rosetta and everybody?
I think so.
He was a cool host. I like that guy.
Yeah.
I like his jacket. It's red. Thank you,
I don't
Chris
know
Knight.
if it's the same one.
Oh, okay.
I did just to be sure. I don't know, but
then it's Peter Brady, aka that Christopher Knight. Cool.
Could be.
Reach the Brady Bunch level. We're famous, folks.
I accept that version of the truth.
Scott Skio2, thank you very much. He says, I wanted to say Disney wouldn't be stupid enough to give Roundhead a trilogy, but this is Disney we're talking about, so yeah. I don't want to sound defeated, because I'm not, but if they'll burn Cara Dune figures and send them to the pulverizer to prove a point, anything, I don't care. If it's going to burn money, fuck it, they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Super Smash Brothers candidates, thank you very much. He says, I ask, since Minecraft characters were announced in Smash Brothers, those who disagree with their inclusion, like me, have been intimidated and organized shield trolls paid by companies. Is this a modus operandi? I don't know why people would be so up in arms, the Super Smash Brothers candidates, that you don't want Minecraft characters. They don't fit the aesthetic. Now people go, what about Pac-Man? Yeah, but it's a 3D Pac-Man that kind of fits the rest of the game. These are like those weird 2D sprite-based, whatever. Well, not sprite-based, excuse me. But they're these weird, flat, ugly characters, so they don't really fit. So I understand your complaint. Yeah, plus I also don't like the inclusion of Western video game characters in Smash Brothers. It's always been more of a Japanese thing, but whatever. That's just me.
I think I'd rather have a variety of I'd rather have a Minecraft guy than another swordy sort of Fire Emblem sort of character, because those are all kind of samey, but that's
I'll give you that.
I like variety.
All of those, because Jesse and I will play All Shulks Go to Heaven, where it'll be us versus 6 Shulks, and we just want to kill them to hear them scream because they have the best death.
And we're sick people.
Yeah, we are sick people. But yeah, Becca, I agree with the whole over-sworded thing. It used to be that Link was the best swordsman because he was very balanced, he was heavy, and he was kind of fast. So he's cool. But then you have Marth, Roy, Shulk, and everyone I can't even name off the top of my head. There's Robin. There's really weird ones. So
yeah, there's so many. There's so many of them, and they're so.
Everyone has a sword. No one has a sword.
It's like they almost all have the same moves too. See, if I play Game & Watch is kind of fun playing as, or Rob the Robot from the old NES. I really, really like his character. Or sometimes Donkey Kong's really fun, or Kirby. I like playing as Kirby sometimes too. So it depends on what mood I'm in and what kind of game I want to play.
I was looking up the news. Apparently, Nintendo's going to announce another character tomorrow, so that'll be kind of fun.
Maybe they would announce Mario Kart.
Now, have you guys? Oh, in the chat, I see a lot of people sending in messages about the whole game. I guess we'll play it since we're on the air. You think we should play it, Jesse?
Always time for one.
So, Mecca, Tom, I apologize in advance. We have these word games that we play on the podcast where we'll take a movie quote and we'll replace it.
Oh,
so,
I know.
For Star Wars, we're going to take a famous Star Wars quote and replace it with "my hole" in honor of Nia Jax, this lady wrestler who fell and she screams "ow, my hole" when she hits the ground. For example,
I don't care what you smell. Get in my hole.
There you go. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of my hole.
Oh no, I can't think of any quotes.
Look at the size of my hole. Got the chatter red too.
Luke, trust my hole.
Oh Lord, they haven't caught up yet. May the hole be with you. I love that.
There you go. Taking the High Council to a whole new meaning with this one there, folks.
Rise of the Hole Walker. Yeah, see, that's what happens. That's what happens. My brain stops.
Consider showing Master Luke your hole.
No, I don't think he likes you at all. I don't like your hole either. Our friend Andy from the UK says, we got Justice League, not Snyder Justice League. I can't wait. Well, Andy, you have a direct line of communication to me, man. So on March 18th, please tell me what you think of the film. I know I'll be watching that first hour because
I actually have a Yoda joke that you can tell people. Oh, sorry, you were still talking. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh no, dude. Because of
the guy's super chat, man. That was my fault.
Oh no, you're cool. No, I was saying I had just read through it because of the latency issue. You thought you overtalked me.
Oh, okay. I actually have a Yoda joke that you can tell nerds that only nerds are going to get. What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? HDMI.
Boo.
HDMI.
Terrible.
That's a dad joke that everybody can tell. There you go.
Don't anyone tell it ever again. Let
Just
it die.
Jesse. I'm going to make it a thing.
Oh, no.
Cicero Adolphus, thank you very much for your super chat. He says, hey, Jeff, I've been on a 007 binge this week. Just curious, who is your favorite Bond and your top 5 films of the franchise? Well, Cicero Adolphus, thank you very much for your super chat. I love to talk about James Bond. So, my favorite Bond is... It's a tie between Brosnan and Connery. I love them both. It's when I watch every Bond movie, I'm happy to be in the Connery films, and as soon as they're over, I can't wait to get to GoldenEye. So that's kind of it's kind of a cheap answer. Gun to my head, if I had to pick one, I'd pick Pierce Brosnan. That was my favorite growing up. He was cool. He was what we needed in the 90s, and he brought the Bond franchise back. If you would have had a boring Daniel Craig stand-in 1995, Mission Impossible would have come out and probably failed too, because you wouldn't have had that relaunch of the spy genre. There wouldn't have been, a demand for the Saint and all of those things. Now, my top 5 favorite films are easy. Cicero, it would be GoldenEye, GoldenEye from Russia with Love, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Live and Let Die, and the Living Daylights. Those are my top 5. Now, Tom, you were on your journey for Bond. Have you completed the journey yet?
No, it actually hit a hiccup because Robert Meyer Burnett's been dealing with all his. Well, now I can actually say the stuff because he's actually announced it now. He was, of course, we already knew he was working on Tango Shalom, but he's also doing a Dota series now. He was working on for Netflix, so he's been so busy with that. But hopefully, we're going to get caught back up. I've only seen the first 4 films, I want to say. So I got a ways to go.
Yeah, you have 20 more.
At least.
That was good, so you're good enough.
Is that your favorite one, Mecca?
Well, that's the one. That's the one I remember the most of, because I mean, I always liked the old ones back in the day, but now that I'm kind of older, I'm like, I think the more modern-y ones seem better. But I haven't seen all of them though, so keep that in mind. I've only seen like a couple in the beginning, and then it's just sporadic. You just see them sporadically. That's why I was we were like, Rob and I were watching them together just to try and refresh our memories on all of them. So,
I also found a picture of Jeremy. There we go. I forgot to share that one earlier, folks.
Oh, nice.
oh, cool.
Look at him with his videos.
He's got magic Mountain Dew.
Yes, he does. I figure he has Yoo-Hoo or Mountain Dew, but Yoo-Hoo blows. Basically, he's drinking nuclear waste right here, folks.
Mountain Dew is amazing.
Why are you trying to tear this apart? I'm trying to get us out of here. No. That one goes there. This one goes in my hole.
I respect the long setup there, Tom.
That was
Yeah, he had to. Otherwise, it wasn't going to work with just the other way.
You did it.
That was worth it.
Respect. Our friend Mark Marshall says, loving the conversation. Thank you all. Today, Daily Wire announced a long interview with Gina, airing this Sunday.
Mm.
There you go, folks. I know I don't watch their content, but I know they put out a Sunday show. So I guess that's their big one this week. Folks, there you go. I don't know if that requires a subscription, if that requires any kind of thing, but if you're a Gina Carano fan, you want to check it out, Daily Wire.
Or Daily Wire.
Say what again?
Who is it? Daily Wire's got one coming out?
Yeah, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, their articles are in print form too, so I'm sure somebody will transcribe it.
Oh, I knew this was coming. Yeah, because she actually did the Babylon Bee podcast just before she found out about this shit. So that one I'm sure is going to be awkward.
Cesario Japan, thank you very much. He says, Potato Theory. Carano's firing was supposed to be on the Monday after the Disney financial call for Max Effect. Bad Hollywood news, celeb divorces, etc. get shunted to Friday and forgotten by Monday.
Yeah, I think that's where I question the whole Disney Lucasfilm spokesperson thing, because normally when you do something official, there's something official on a web page, the Twitters, all the social media things, and they actually make a statement. And this statement sounded like half official and then half a bunch of horse shit that they were just throwing in there. You know, like calling her abhorrent and all that kind of crap. Like normally you don't get that kind of a thing in one of these kind of statements. So whoever put this out there was really pissed at her. And really wanted this to happen. Like there was even journalists that were saying on Twitter, like, we've been looking for 2 months for something to get her with. Now we finally got it. So it's like, it's not like this was a secret. They've been doing this whole time. Like they've been just trying to get her with something. So I'm sure it was one of those things. And again, I'm not going to get into all the ins and outs of the other stuff because we covered it so well already. And, you know, I just feel like it was a big mistake on their part. And I believe Gina's side of the story. So,
yeah, I think it's stupid. But, I mean, we know money is not the deciding factor. SH Rebels 08, thank you very much for your super chat of a cup of coffee. I might take you up on that because our old boy Champagne Cake woke us up at how early this morning, Jesse?
7:30.
Jesus.
Yeah, folks, by 10 a.m. I had seen Jurassic World for the first time.
You've never seen him before?
No, dude. All right, let me blow your mind. I hadn't seen Jurassic Park until the 20th anniversary re-release in IMAX.
Well, that's a good way to see it.
Yep. I was up in New York for WrestleMania. So we were over in New Jersey at a mall, and Joel, my friend Joel, who used to be on the show, is like, "You've never seen Jurassic Park?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You got to see it." And I went, "All right." And so I went and saw it. I liked it. And then dating Jesse, who's a big Jurassic Park fan, when we got the new TV, we went to Best Buy and we were picking out box sets of 4K movies. We're like, oh, we're going to watch this and this and this. And she picked out the Jurassic Park box set, all of them. And so she's got a big stream this Saturday where we're going to do a watch party of the original. And she's got a couple guests on that had seen them all. So I tried to get caught up. And I got to say, this isn't going to be a popular opinion, but I like Jurassic World. I thought it was a pretty solid flick.
It's pretty much the Force Awakens, though, of the Jurassic films, just to be clear.
Was that with the first one with Bryce Dallas Howard running with high heels? Yeah, that was just a fun,
decent,
dumb movie.
It was just Jurassic redo. Now, Fallen Kingdom is one of the worst fucking movies ever made. That's the next one after that.
I don't even like Jurassic Park 3, and 2's not a favorite either. I was talking to Jesse. I think I like Jurassic World, my second favorite. Like the first one's always going to be normal. The best.
I'm really curious, Tom, to see how Jeff feels about Fallen Kingdom, though, because it's one of those bad movies that's very watchable, you know? And I think if you're not that invested in the story of Jurassic Park, but you really go to those movies for the spectacle, you could come away from that film not feeling that disappointed.
Fallen Kingdom?
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking hated it. But see, aren't you one of my internet buddies that actually likes The Lost World with me, though?
Yes, I am.
I was going to say, I thought so. So yeah, I think that's an underappreciated Jurassic film.
But I also think that you'll probably agree in that maybe one of your criticisms of Fallen Kingdom, the same way that Jurassic World tries to follow the first movie, you know, the same structure. I really felt like they were tried to follow beat for beat The Lost World in Fallen Kingdom. It's just a much lesser film with so many Deus Ex Machinas and you know.
Well, I don't want to get into it to spoil it, but yeah, like there's some stuff in there. There's some big asks in that movie.
But like I said, it's one of those bad movies where, like, unlike The Last Jedi, where it's just very difficult to watch because it's long and boring. If you decide to turn off your brain and just enjoy the spectacle, I think Fallen Kingdom has a lot more watchability than, say, The Last Jedi.
I don't know if I can agree with you on that one, but I haven't watched it since I saw it in theaters because I was so mad at it.
That's
like,
very fair. Because
I actually enjoyed Jurassic World because I had no delusions that it was pretty much the same movie, but I'm like it was all right, kind of like the reaction most people had with it. It wasn't a horrible film. It doesn't really destroy anything that came before. Sure, it's a lot like the first film, but it was fun. But that second the Fallen Kingdom, I don't know if I had too high of expectations. Without getting into specifics, because it's
well, I'll tell you this, dude. What sold me, like, I liked Jurassic World the whole time. I had a good time watching it. But what sold me was the end when they had the Raptors have their own, like, the twist of, the Indominus Rex is part Raptor, and then the Raptors had the story, and then the T-Rex teamed up with the Raptor to take down the shit and all that. Like, I like that the dinosaurs had a story. My big complaint with Jurassic Park movies in general have always been, I don't care about the people. I'm not interested in Julianne Moore. I don't care about so-and-so. Mm-hmm. The only human I ever liked in those movies was Jeff Goldblum because it's Jeff Goldblum. And as an adult, I like the lawyer because he's Izzy from Miami Vice. So it's kind of a weird dynamic. But with that being said, the human characters in this one were okay. They were solid. I liked the kids. I liked her. And Chris Pratt's Chris Pratt, so I can't really complain. But I'm looking forward. If I don't have the same reaction to Dominion or Fallen Kingdom that you do, all I need is for it to just be fine. Then I'll be excited.
I don't hope you hate it or anything, but yeah.
Oh, no. I would say, like, I'm so checked out of Jurassic Park as a franchise. My standards are way different than an actual fan because I just like to watch them once or twice and kind of move on.
I'll even give part 3 credit for the few bits that it steals from the first book that we didn't get to see in the first movie. Like,
I've heard. I haven't read the books, but I've heard this about 3.
Yeah, there's a few bits in there that that we didn't get, like the pterodactyl scene and a couple other things that were in the original book. That was like, oh, cool. They at least used it, But otherwise, Jurassic Park 3 is kind of like that. That's one of those Kathleen Kennedy movies you can hold up as an example.
Hey, let's see what you can do. Oh, that's what you can do.
Because again, this is one of those that's so, I guess, famously, I don't know how true it is, but one of the reasons why Joe Johnston won't work with Kathleen Kennedy is because of that movie. Because of the crap you had to put up with, I guess.
Our friend Big Joe, thank you very much. He says, here's my Disney Plus money and a bit. Thank you for the content. Big Joe, thank you for joining us all the time, man. I appreciate that. And folks, we only need 150 more thumbs up for a Good Morning Pop Culture next week. So like I say every time, you don't have to watch the show, but do it for your fellow member in the community. You know, they want to be working and lurking. So it's fun for everybody. And there will be one this Friday. So our friend Eddie Max Vandor says, "What's up, suckers?" A lot, man. A lot.
It's been a hell of a week.
I haven't really slept much because of old shit pancake, but glad to be doing channel stuff. No complaints there.
That's no hole.
Dude, the best one I saw, I think it was from somebody called like KSSS, where they quoted, "You came in my hole, you're braver than I thought." It's so dirty.
That one was pretty good. That was better than any of the ones I came up with so far. That's good.
Yeah. I know 7 a.m. is super early, or not super early for some people, but like going to bed at 4 and waking up at 7 kind of sucks, shit pancake. If you spoke English, you'd understand what you're doing to me.
He don't care. He's doing experiments.
Can't you just sleep in the daytime?
I gotta see what happens if mommy and dad get up early.
I wake them up extra early, then I get breakfast extra early, and it's really
I
good.
gotta see if they can function.
Yeah, sometimes they can, and other times they can't. And when they can, well, then it's good. But when they can't, well, then it's funny. Science.
You get extra food that way, right?
Yeah.
He gets to eat separately now, the little diva.
Oh, really?
I need more
Wow.
food to keep me alive, so I can't have my brother stealing it.
Yeah, he's just a slow eater, and the other cats bully him. I watched the one cat like hit him in the face and push him away. I was like,
"Oh no, poor shit pancake."
He's special. I think he's a little special needs sometimes.
Felicity Poobell, thank you very much for your super chat. They must be depending on the COVID-19 hardships funds to get through the year. After that, you'll still need to win fans. Disney/Lucasfilm is garbage. Now, Felicity, you think that's a good point. I still think it's a good point. After this week, it's kind of scary. But with the park not being open for, what, a year almost, Jesse, right? They closed all that shit last March. So yeah, Disneyland's been closed for a year. We've heard reports. We've heard all these things. Culture Casinos had much better coverage in terms of numbers and stuff. But like, we have seen official reports that all is not well. This isn't us trying to impart our hopes and dreams. And so all these dumb decisions, when you pile that on there, you know, maybe Cameron's take isn't as extreme as some people would like to say. Maybe this is one of those events that keeps, you know, look at dominoes fall, but there's got to be that first domino. Maybe it's happened. Maybe this is it. Who knows? But there's going to be a change. A couple months ago, we're talking about the changing impact of the streaming versus, you know, theaters and stuff like that. So they're going to need to find that new revenue stream, and it's not going to be dependent upon views, put it like that. Darian217, we read that one. Thank you very much. Copper Indio, thank you very much. Cameron is right. It's all about sharing public opinions, and politicians in DC are financing them now. Pay attention to these coof relief bills. Sure. I haven't been following any kind of politics, to be honest. I'm not the most political person myself. I don't think you guys are you?
Not really, no. No, I'll like listen. I'll listen in a little bit until it pisses me off, and I'll turn it off. I'm like, ugh, no.
Willie Woodward, thank you very much. Hello, Mr. Short-haired Jesse. Heart, chat, and panel. Adrian Vergara, thank you very much for your generous super chat. We did read that one earlier, but I'll read it again. Hi, everyone. I've got a thought I want to get your opinion on. Is it possible Gina Carano's firing was Kathleen Kennedy's and Lucasfilm's way of derailing Favreau and Filoni and giving them the finger for not towing the company line? We did address that one. Is there anything you guys would like to add to that? Are you cool?
I think that's a big fat yes, but yeah.
Let's see. Where was it? We had a 94 likes to go, folks. So John42, thank you for keeping us up to date. I see you in the chat every day, man. Thank you very much. Hammond of Texas says, thoughts on behind the scenes happening. Ryan Cannell put out a video concerning Pascal's deal with The Last of Us and possibly scaling back involvement in The Mandalorian.
See, now there's no reason he couldn't do both at the same time. But then again, like, they might have pushed Mandalorian back so far that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they didn't push it back though, did they? It was just going to go in December where they'd start filming.
Yeah, I believe I think it drops December 31st, right? Isn't that the date? It comes out this year, but just like the last day.
So,
don't quote me.
I mean, it's possible that it won't interfere at all because you can film one thing in spring and the other thing in winter. So,
let's see. My hole's there. We go. My hole's no good to me dead. Let's see. We also had the Super Smash Brothers candidates that says, yes, all of those who have disagreed with the fully playable Minecraft character in Smash Brothers have been called Yahtzee is no longer a Nintendo customer. See, I don't like when they're starting to throw that shit out over Minecraft. It's like throwing it out over Star Wars.
Right?
Like, oh my god, I don't like The Force Awakens. What am I? No, I'm not. It's just a weaponized word that scares people off. You're not one of those things if you dislike Minecraft in a fucking video game. You know what? I dislike Minecraft as a video game. And guess what? I'm not any of those things. I just don't play Minecraft. I don't play Fortnite. I don't play any of the things that are super duper popular. I'm geeking out over Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb and Halo. That's what I'm playing right now. Watch us over on Twitch, My Own SBS Gaming. Cheap plug. Valiant Renegade, thank you very much. Hail to Jeff, Tom, and Cameron. Now, Tom, I wanted to ask you, since you did have a chance to read up on the Batman 89 comic, Mecca, it is your birthday. I'm going to ask you this question first. Batman 89, were you there? Did you see it when it first came out? If so, what were your thoughts when it was new?
Oh, it was fine. I liked it. I liked it. Let's see. I don't think I saw it in the theater though. I really don't think I did. I most likely saw it when it came to video for the first time, because it would take a while to come to cable after that. So I'm pretty sure I rented it like that first opening weekend because everybody was talking about it. So, and yeah, it was fun. It was a fun movie, especially when you're, how old was I? Like 10 years old, since I'm old. So I was like right at the right age when everybody was talking about it. But I was just kind of right, almost a little bit grown out of it, I think. So that might have been why I didn't rush out to the theater. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Tom, same question to you, dude.
I thought I told this story before, but I guess I may not have here. I didn't get to see Batman in the theater for good reason. My little ass was grounded. Because I got busted stealing Batman cards at the fucking gas station.
Oh.
So my punishment, besides being grounded for a long time, was not being able to see the fucking movie in theater. So I deserved it. It's my own fault. It's my punishment.
I grew up with this.
Of course,
movie.
when I finally got to see it, my dad. Here's the cool thing: my dad got it for me for Christmas. So
okay.
I got the video for Christmas, and I loved it. Of course, it's fucking Batman. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that car driving outside very loudly at this very moment agrees too. He loves Batman.
This is my Batman, man. I mean, come on.
Actually, let me share this image because this is a two-part
There's one
story.
thing that's wrong with this, though, Jeff.
The
bat symbol's wrong.
Oh shit! Did they give the
They gave him the fucking normal one.
I hope they go back and fix it. So the story,
Superman 78, man, that's my jam. That's my man.
Yeah, it's interesting how Warner Brothers sees value in their older representations of their heroes. I have the same question that I would have with anyone involved with Warner Brothers over at Marvel is, are we going to get this with Spider-Man? Because I, for one, will sign up for Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I don't care if it makes me whatever. I grew up with that shit. It was cool. I want to see a decent final chapter to his story, not the bullshit that was Spider-Man 3. But this looks amazing. I think Michael Keaton Batman will be, probably already is, but at the end of the day, Michael Keaton Batman will be the most financially successful action figure version of the character in terms of actors who have ever played him, because he played him twice during an era when the toy explosion was way bigger than it became during the Christian Bale era. That was when video games were much more popular than toys. And so he's had fewer figures. Same thing with Ben Affleck. He only played Batman for 2 films? Well, 3 technically. Or was it 4? Anyway, long story short, Michael Keaton Batman's going to go down, have another notch on his belt, just being that much greater than people give him credit for. So I'm pumped as a Batman fan. I can't wait to buy this fucking book.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
I want you to tell my hole about me. Oh, God. There's a shitload of my whole movie titles, so I'm glad everyone likes my whole.
That's awesome.
Let's see, folks. We need what 64 Nintendo 64 more likes to hit that Good Morning Pop Culture next Friday. So we have a super chat from Insult to the Human Race. He says, here to submit my offerings to the High Council. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Well, Insult to the Human Race, thank you very much. We appreciate that message. Gojira Star 5477 says, Kathleen Kennedy, her coven and people like them remind me of the necromongers from the Riddick movies. Convert or die. Sounds like Darth Vader. Remember he says to Luke on the thing on the Cloud City? Join us or die. So, yeah, ultimatum, not in a good way. Soul Fiend, thank you very much. He says, talking of canceling Disney Plus, here's my sub that Disney Plus aren't getting out of next month. Sorry. Here's my sub that Disney Plus isn't getting next month from you guys, or going to you guys instead. Excuse me, Soul Fiend, for butchering that, but thank you very much for the sentiment. I appreciate that. Larry says, Cobra Kai would greatly benefit from having Gina Carano. She's a former MMA fighter, so, stunt work, but she's got to fit into the story. Ron W., thank you very much. He says, Stallone should do Expendables 4 and put Gina in it. I remember when Ronda Rousey was the it girl for the action movies and stuff. Gina Carano could have been in the Expendables, just like Ronda Rousey was. I think the Expendables coming back, I don't know if you could bring them back, though. It was a cool concept, but a lot of those actors have aged out, and because of the way society is, we don't create new action stars. So maybe you could team up like John Wick and James Bond and a couple other like never-before-seen heroes. Or you could do what I would suggest if you do an Expendables 4. Instead of making it Stallone meets Schwarzenegger, have it be Rambo meets John Matrix meets John McClane meets whatever. And so, it's too many Johns. But my point is, make it a crossover of the characters, not the actors. Maybe then you could do some weird universe-breaking shit and people would go nuts for it. That's all I got.
Where's Linda Carter?
She's coming back, man. She's in Wonder Woman 84.
No, in this mix up here, like... in Flash 90.
There was already a Wonder Woman comic. I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman 70 whatever beat this by a couple years. What's his name? Mark.
I want that Justice League though. I want Michael Keaton's Batman, Christopher Reeve's Superman, Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, and what's his face's Flash from the 1990 show. His name just escaped me now.
Oh, fuck, not Mark.
Somebody will tell us in the chat. You know who I'm talking about though.
Yeah. Okay. So Wonder Woman. So what is the fucking book? It was Mark. Somebody was named Mark D'Antonio or somebody. He used to be on
John Wesley Shipp. That's it.
John Wesley Shipp. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, there was a comic like that you want, Tom. There was no crossover, but this Batman story isn't just that this comic's coming out. They tried to do this a couple years ago, and because of licensing, they couldn't get it to happen. But did you see what some of the designs were, Tom, that include one of our a very famous singer who contributes to the Batman soundtrack?
I heard about it, but I didn't get to see it yet.
Yeah,
I was waiting to get to see that.
Yeah. Prince, aka Mr. Bat Dance.
Why not?
So, yeah, this is the Joker gang from '89. Joe Quinones is the artist, and a wonderful job he did.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah, I just wanted to be able to talk about something fun and positive on this show. It's
That's
like, what?
freaking awesome. I want an animated show of this now, damn it.
I would watch that forever. No Batman Forever puns
Batman
intended.
Forever pun. No, that would be cool is if we actually, you know what they start this with, if they did this like an animated show, I want to see Tim Burton's initial plan for Batman Forever. That's what I want to see. Or Tim Burton's Batman 3, whatever he was going to call it. Because he did have an outline and a plan for what he wanted to do.
Oh, yeah. And if, for $70 million budgets, they're a little pricey to do a Justice League Snyder cut for any other type of movie. But for a very, 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 very small fraction of that price, you can continue these stories in comics or animation. So maybe one of these great what ifs for DC, instead of, Marvel's got their what if stories. What if DC does, let's do animated versions of scripts that never got made? That's $1 billion idea right there.
There was another Superman too, besides Superman Lives, that didn't get made as well. Sorry.
Oh no, don't apologize. All you do is you line up whatever rights it would take to get the actors and then whoever wrote the script. Because I know Yeah, Sam Hamm, I think, is writing this one. Is he the one that passed away from the first? One of the original screenwriters is working on this new Batman comic. So get the people that worked on
There was Sam Hamm and there was Bruce Timm, I think.
Well, Bruce Timm was the artist for the animated series. Like a lot of
the other guy I'm thinking of. Because there was a couple guys that were instrumental in getting the original movie off the ground. I can't remember who they all are now.
Well, I'm glad that they got the movie made. And Michael Hughesland's probably the most instrumental one in the beginning because
maybe that's who I'm thinking of originally.
Yeah, because he started out as a professor in Indiana teaching comics in a college course.
Okay,
and somehow got the rights to Batman. His name's on everything. Every Batman movie, executive producer Michael Hughesland. So
that might be the guy I'm thinking of then, because he did the whole famous your son, I love Superman, but you can't prove to me that there's any value in a course on comic books or that comic books hold any kind of historical value or some shit like that. And he's like, all right. He's like, Superman, you said he's your favorite. And he's like, tell me the story of Superman. And he goes, okay, well, Superman's Kal-El. He's sent to Earth by his father, Jor-El, and he's adopted by the Kents, and he becomes the savior of Earth. He goes, okay, now tell me the story of Moses. He's like, well, Moses was an orphan sent down the river by. All right, you got your course. Is that the guy?
Yep, that's exactly him.
I love that story.
He's on a bunch of good podcasts. Go listen to the Fat Man on Batman show from many years ago when Kevin Smith's show was a podcast and not a video that you could watch along with him. So,
yeah, he's a cool dude.
Your tongue tunnel freeze, then I'll see you in my hole. So we also have our friend Aaron C, who says WDW Pro just put out an article on Pirates and Princesses that Favreau was not aware of the firing.
Yeah, that was in the THR report.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Thanatos Felicitas, thank you very much. Race swapping is just giving brown people sloppy seconds.
Ouch. That's true in a way.
What did I say about Batwoman?
Oh, that's the definition of it. Sloppy seconds. Now that's even worse because first of all, sorry Jeff, but you got the white lesbian lady who took over her cousin's shit to begin with and stole it from a guy, and now you have some black woman who's appropriating that, who was actually a drug dealer, if I'm not mistaken. Right? I'm glad I haven't watched an episode of this show.
She was just in the wrong place. She was just running with the drug crowd.
Mule or whatever.
Yeah, she was just no, she wasn't a mule either. She just happened to be in the wrong place in the wrong time because all of her buddies are all these drug users.
Well, of course.
Oh, he doesn't do anything bad. But her girlfriend did, her ex-girlfriend did. It's like, sounds to me like you need a better ex-girlfriend or it's a good thing that she's an ex, but it's like she just happens to know all of these most, crime happy sort of people in the city. It's like really, and you want me to kind of go into this to the story feeling sorry for you. I mean, I maybe don't associate with these criminals. I don't know.
Maybe they shouldn't just make this show.
Yeah.
That's my sound advice. Let's see. Your Muslim uncle says for the presentation of real Muslim manners and Islamic chivalry, and that was in regards to how Kamran was discussing stuff. So clearly, Kamran, if you hear this at this part of the show at a later date, your Muslim uncle appreciated everything you were talking about. Soul Fiend again, thank you very much. She says, should check out Arch's new video about 6 days in Fallujah game creator being attacked because he made a game and wanted to keep the politics out of it. I will check that out, Soul Fiend. I'll take a picture of that. I feel like I should get up to date with Arch's channel. A lot of people keep asking for a crossover. We're going to we're going to reach out, try to make that happen. So I should be up to date on everything. Darth Nablus, thank you very much. I'll download torrent of the Rian Johnson trilogy to make memes. Don't send me the torrents, but send me the memes because I want to make fun of the movie, even if I never watch it. So thank you very much, Darth Nablus. Matt Deckard says, Gina Carano posts tolerance and gets fired. Pedro posts malice and crickets. What lesson is Disney teaching children?
Exactly. Well, they think they're on the right side of everything. They think that their religion is righteous, basically.
Yeah, that's scary. By the way, Project Cambrian, Romancing the Whole is my favorite one now.
I saw that one earlier too. There's been some damn good ones. And this is one you can't insert my hole into, but if somebody says my hole, you could respond with this. They don't. I thought they spelled bad on the outside.
Oh, I thought my hole smelled bad on the outside. That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, that works. There you go. You could add it that way. I was trying to work it in there. It was like more like a response to somebody, but yeah, I got you. Yeah, that works.
Shark dentures. Thank you very much. You know what they say, Tom? There are 3 types of people: those who are good at math and those who aren't.
Maths is racist.
One. Oh, go ahead, Becca. Sorry.
I was just saying, math actually is now. They've been deciding that. And there's also articles, what to do if your pet is istinophobic.
You don't worry about it because it's not a thing.
Wait, pets? They're actually... What?
Mm-hmm. Did you see that one? There's some article, what to do if your pet's racist? Oh, shut up.
What? My gerbil doesn't like black dudes.
Like, here, kill yourself because you're focusing on the wrong parts of people.
My cat seriously does not like Korean people. I got to deal with this.
My cat likes... Some of my cats like everybody, and some of my cats like nobody.
Yeah, your cats... Oh, here's a news flash. All cats are racist. They hate most people, period.
They're just specious against...
Yeah, they're just species. They don't care as long as you feed them. It's like... change their litter. That's all they give a shit about.
As soon as I started talking about a cat, here comes Han Solo, the cat, jumping up on the couch.
What cat food, Blair?
Like, I'm a cat. I want food.
That's all they care about. The cat is the only animal that is a pet that will let you know that they're ignoring you. Like, they will literally walk up, sit right down in front of your face, but put their back to you. And they'll give you that little sly look, and then they just won't look at you. It's like, yeah, I'm ignoring you, human. It's like they literally go out of their way to let you know they're ignoring you. Then they bug the hell out of you for food. Then you give them food, and they're like, oh, you're hungry? Because I'm not eating that.
Say it again, Tom. Sorry. What's up?
I said, and then they said, cats. Oh, did you miss the whole spiel or just the last bit?
Just the last bit. I heard the whole thing about the cats.
Oh, okay. That was all I said. I said, oh, you're going to eat that? Because I'm not.
Oh, she's pancake. You're the worst. Now, our friend Ace1589 2001 says, question, Lord and Miller haven't had another movie since Lego 2. Are they blacklisted?
I don't know about that. I wonder if they're not. I wonder if they are, maybe. I don't know.
Who hasn't?
Lord and Miller? Did they do something recently?
No, I would say, yeah, I think they're working on a few things. I think the Lord and Miller situation was more just proof that Kathleen Kennedy is not good at A, telling people what she wants or expects out of them, and B, just more proof that she tried to run Star Wars kind of like Kevin Feige was doing Marvel, but just not being there. I think one thing that she's shown, and that's abundantly clear, whether you want to agree with, there being a Cold War or not inside Lucasfilm, is that Kathleen Kennedy is the most absentee parent I've ever seen in my life. She never has any idea what's going on. And she's shown that.
No novels.
What was that?
I said, yeah, there's no novels either.
Well, besides that, because I've made the point that she may have been taking a crack at Benioff and Weiss with that, or Feige with that. She could have definitely been taking a swipe and not thinking about what she was saying. But outside of that, when she was asked about Leia being in Rise of Skywalker, she had no fucking clue. She's like, oh no, Carrie Fisher's brother's wrong. She's not going to be in it. We're not using any old footage. That wasn't the case. She had no fucking idea what the hell she was talking about. Then she comes out and says, oh, we've got Obi-Wan series happening. And then after The Mandalorian was already aired, not filmed, aired, they come out and say, well, they have to retool Obi-Wan. Why? Because it's too much like The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that one was stupid.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that shows like she has She is the most absentee fucking parent on the block. She has no clue what her kids are up to. None. And that's why I think there's a Cold War going on, but I don't
parties. That's why.
I don't think she necessarily has anything to do with it. Like, it's just people who have one political view that live by that code, and the other people who just want to tell Star Wars. And that's where I say, just because Gina Carano was fired is not, mutually exclusive to the fact that there is still a faction of people who want to tell good Star Wars stories. It just goes to show that there's people that, will get you fired over your supposed political views there if they're on the wrong side. That's all it proved.
Well, I can say that Lord and Miller aren't blacklisted because what everyone forgets is they're involved with Into the Spider-Verse. That's their shit.
They're fine.
They're not at Disney anymore. They have Into the Spider-Verse 2 coming out. They currently have a show on Apple TV. They've had all these other TV shows since and stuff. And then they announced that Clone High's coming back the other day.
No, if anything, you're right, Jeff. They are pure examples that she is not. Well, look at Rian Johnson. 2 examples right now that she does not know what she's doing over there. You had Lord and Miller, who have done nothing but knock shit out the park everywhere else, right? The Lego movie, 21 Jump Street, all this other shit you just mentioned that they're working on coming up. Is why are they doing all that? Because they've worked on all this other stuff that was very popular and was a hit.
Yeah.
The Star Wars deal was the only misstep they had. Look at Rian Johnson. Made Looper, was critically acclaimed. Makes The Last Jedi, worst Star Wars fucking movie ever made. Goes and makes some little movie called Knives Out. Even Mecca says it wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we saw it.
So the proof is in the pudding. It's not the people making the movies, it's the leadership. Favreau comes in and he gives us The Mandalorian, and we're all sitting here thinking, Jesus Christ, this is what we should have had to begin with, right? We're all saying, even if you're not even that big of a fan of it, you could still say, well, at least it somewhat has Star Wars in it compared to the other shit we've gotten. And again, I'm like you, Jeff. I feel like that there was much to do about The Mandalorian that was going to lead to nothing, because we all know where this goes. Because you and I know that in this world, like we've said about the whole Snyder cut, going back to that thing, Andre and I kept telling people the only way we're ever going to see the Snyder cut is if there's a regime change, and any person whose fees could be hurt is so low down on the totem pole that they don't matter anymore. And each one of those things came into fruition for the Snyder cut to happen. You had AT&T buy out Warner Brothers, which then a lot of those people got axed. A lot of the people that were involved in the whole Snyder situation were already out the door. Joss Whedon had already been half-assed Me Too'd out the window before this last week. So pretty much anybody whose feelings could have been hurt by the Snyder cut is gone, except for 1 or 2 people. And those 1 or 2 people are keeping their heads down right now because they know if they stick it up too high, it's going to get lopped off by Jason Kilar. Because right now they are cleaning house over there, and anything that's redundant is gone. And anybody who probably lost them any money before this is probably gone. And I guarantee you that's why there's so much resistance from Warner Brothers' side, because they're like, fuck this, because all this Snyder cut's going to do is prove us wrong if it's any good, because they've been trying to do, Birds of Prey and all that other crap. The only thing that they've had that's a hit has been the Joker.
Yeah.
And Shazam was a subtle hit. Aquaman was the only other big hit besides Joker that they've had that was inside the DCEU. Wonder Woman was a fluke with Wonder Woman 84. We saw that. So, and I kind of seen, the seams were showing in the original Wonder Woman. I kept telling people that I don't think this next one's going to be that great either. So, I mean, that's the thing, is the DC universe is hanging on by a thread. Star Wars is dead as far as I'm concerned. Star Trek is dead in the water. Doctor Who's dead in the water. All we got is Karate Kid and fucking King Kong, man. That's all we got left.
Well, I personally am going to watch James Bond shit the bed.
Oh,
and we're already in the process. Look, it's leaking down his leg. But I want to see the big stinky mess that is No Time to Die.
84. Wonder Hole of Money is what it was. I can't imagine what that movie cost them now, if you stop and think about it. Because not only did it cost the original production cost, but they went and gave Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot a big old payday on top of it. So that was one of the biggest loss leaders in history, I bet.
Well, all I know is that it killed my interest in being excited for first home to theater at the same day, because the movie kind of sucked. So I was like, oh, this is it? This is the big deal?
Yeah. Nah. I'm looking forward to Kong, but I'd rather see it in the theaters.
Same. I would much rather pay $20 a person to go see King Kong and then spend money on popcorn. Jesse, what's that popcorn you bought me that was like $9 for just the small, the real butter one at the ArcLight?
Ooh, that sounds good.
Dude, it's the best popcorn I've ever had, though. Like outside of the shit, we make good popcorn here now with our brown butter and all this stuff.
I miss this old theater we used to have. It was one of those theaters that was just one screen, old Dolby sound theater. But the guy who made the popcorn, the butter machine, he literally, you could see it. He would do it at the beginning of the night. He'd take a pound of butter and just melt it into the butter. It was real butter. So it was great. Great stuff. Fresh popcorn popped it that night. You knew it wasn't from the night before.
I do miss theater smell, like just going in and the smell of the movie theaters.
Yeah, it looked like one of those old, it had all the dressing around, and it just felt, you just felt cozy. And I mean, I saw Beverly Hills Cop 3 there, and Forrest Gump, and Vampire in Brooklyn, and a bunch of other movies, around that period. It was because it was a really great theater that at that time was getting all the Paramount pictures, because the way the theaters work is, if you have a certain theater in a certain radius, depending on the amount of people, they only allow so many prints to go out to that area. So the little theater was stealing all the Paramount movies from the little Cineplex downtown. So that was fine by me. I got to see all these movies in this big, cool theater. So it was like, nice.
I can just vivid really isn't a way to describe a smell, but I can clearly remember every smell from the theater, because many theaters smell the same. That warm popcorn smell, or if you go in at an off time and they fucking burned it.
They don't smell the same anymore. It's not the same popcorn smell. And do you know they actually artificially put popcorn smell into the air filters now in theaters?
I don't only go to AMC's, so like some of the back home we had like small ones still. The Esquire Theater in Cincinnati, one screen for regular releases and one screen for midnight showings of Rocky Horror Picture Show or The Room. So. Yeah, it was one of those
dream theater to me.
It's cool, dude. If you're ever in Cincinnati with me, we'll go up there and catch a screening of something. It was right by the college I went to.
WKRP.
In Cincinnati. There's a WKRQ. So, folks, we need 9 more likes.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on. We're really.
I don't know if I've liked it. Let me go check. Oh,
I know I haven't liked it, but I like it after the stream because I figure.
You gotta remind me. Oh, 92.
There we go. We're getting there. Boise Bird, thank you very much. He says, it was weird Ryan followed that USA Today journalist as soon as the news of the trilogy broke out. LOL. All right, we blew past it. Now we're at 10:20. All right, folks, next Friday. Good morning, pop culture. I guess I should start making those mugs, working and lurking. So be on the lookout.
We really got to work over a crossover one of these mornings, too.
Oh, dude.
We start on one and migrate over to the other, yeah.
It can be one of these Fridays. You pick. I'm not precious about, I got to stream at this time on this channel, only me. So, yeah, man, if you want to pick, you want to try next Friday?
Yeah, we might be able to work that out for sure.
All right. If not, we'll come up with another week. It doesn't matter, man. We'll make it happen.
I don't think I have anything scheduled, so I think we can work that. What time do you usually start your show?
10 Pacific, but I can get up earlier to join you on your channel, though, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, we could start on mine and then jump over to yours, or vice versa, whichever one.
That could be something fun, man.
Sounds good. Yeah, I ain't got nothing scheduled Friday, so I think we can work that out next Friday, right? So you're talking the 26th? Yep. All right.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, Wheezy Bird, to jump back to your super chat, though, about the news of the trilogy breaking out, look at exactly what went down. This was a journalist on a Zoom call that won a charity auction to interview Rian Johnson, and this is the question she asked. This wasn't some... she wasn't even a journalist. She's a writer. She wrote other books. So that's what happened. Somebody won this contest or won this charity auction to ask him a question. This wasn't like this big industry story that is breaking news. It's like, yeah, this lady just, won an auction. And that was what a great question.
She knew what she was asking, and she knew what kind of fucking attention it was going to get her. And it's the same answer we've been hearing for the last 4 fucking years.
They can make it all they want. It's just nobody's going to go see it.
Yeah.
I look at it this way. His trilogy was announced before The Mandalorian was ever a thing. We're now at a point where we have had 2 seasons of The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Johnson already. Trilogy. And I've said it a million times. 5 years from now, he's going to be sitting down in a conversation with somebody on an interview for Knives Out 3. And they're going to be like, whatever happened to Star Wars? Are you still working on that? Well, I just decided that I wanted to do smaller pictures, and Star Wars really wasn't my thing. And I just decided I don't want to do big blockbuster pictures anymore. And I just want to stick to my Knives Out. And I just decided not to do that anymore. And it's going to look like it was his choice when it never really was.
Well, I'm glad that look at Ryan, stick to your movies, man. No one's here to try to change your
you're better
your
off,
dreams.
man.
Yeah, you're better off. We're better off. Everyone is better off.
It's good for you. It's good for them. It's good for everybody.
Andres Fernandez, thank you very much for everything. He says, is anyone afraid that the Obi-Wan series, it could really be a disaster, and it seems like it seems like to be a Kathleen Kennedy project. Favreau has nothing to do about it. That's the show that I am the most concerned about because of the contradictory element of Vader fighting Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that if you make Star Wars content, Disney, you can't contradict the first movie. Everything has to be in service of that one because that's where everything is built from. And by the same accord, what I really mean is you shouldn't contradict any of the films, even those shitty ones that everyone hates. You gotta stick with the canon. So if you're going to make an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, cool. Remember, he's on Tatooine to watch over Luke. That is his journey, his mission, his goal. You don't get to write a show where he fucks off on different planets or runs with Luke all the time. Like, there's not all these lines of dialogue in the original Star Wars that mention Luke and Obi-Wan. Luke's been attacked by the Empire before and all this other shit. No. You make sure
you don't know who old Ben is, though. But yeah,
no. Yeah, don't write this show. Actually, just don't write the show as my statement. But if you're going to do it, just don't contradict what came before. Because if anything that the prequels have shown us is Obi-Wan Kenobi is a very interesting character that has life with different actors playing him. Multiple different actors. We've had Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness on screen, as well as, I think it's James Arnold Taylor, who plays him on the TV show Clone Wars, as well as other games. So that's just as much
basically doing the Ewan McGregor version. But no, I've said there's only one real way to do the show and have it make sense and fit in the universe and feel like fun, and that is have it like, and this also explains why Owen might not like Ben all that much too. Is you have a situation where some bounty hunters get word that there's a possible offspring of Anakin Skywalker living in Tatooine, so they know that there's a couple bounty hunters coming. So Ben and Owen have to go out and stop them before they get anywhere near Luke, and then so they don't find him basically by the end of the show. And so that basically explains why Vader all this time never went looking for Skywalker, because it was a dead end, quote unquote. And basically that also explains why Owen doesn't like Ben, because he's like, all you do is bring fucking trouble to this kid, and all I want to do is raise this kid like a normal kid and stuff like that. And to me, that's the only way you can do it, and not have Vader be a part of that. Why would you? You just have him be the puppet master. He's like, somebody comes up, there's supposedly a son of Skywalker, and it's like, get Boba Fett and so and so and so and so on this right away. That's all you need. I mean, and then once they come back and say, it was nothing, because the rest of them die, and like Boba Fett's the only one who survives or something. And, you can kind of like do some like thing where maybe Ben saves his life or something. And it's like some pact they come up with that he's like, I'll keep my mouth shut about the kid, or some shit like that. And, you just have it set up to where that's why Vader never went looking for him, because there's that big gap. And it's like, it's kind of obvious the kid's name's Skywalker,
Well, reading this George Lucas book really shows me how full of shit he is in terms of how.
I could be wrong, but if you guys agree with me or not, let me know.
Oh, no. What I was going to say is reading how this George Lucas story has been created, or how Star Wars has been created by George Lucas through interviews and stuff that talk about the timeline. This dude didn't have any of this stuff planned out the way he talks about it in this way. And long story short, what I'm trying to get at is he created all these different characters were meant to be one person at one time. Obi-Wan was this person was that. So there's all these different things with Star Wars that are kind of fluid in terms of creation. But the one thing I think would really kill this show is if the Empire has an inkling, because the time they think they found a connection, or they're looking for the droids. But the point is, as soon as they find anything in their way, they wipe them out instantly. I'd find it hard to believe that something as huge as Darth Vader finding out about his son or his offspring that is still alive. I don't think that the Lars are going to get away from anything. If over the droids and the plans to the Death Star, yes, it's a bigger thing on a cosmic level, but that Darth Vader was obsessed with finding Luke. He would go to no.
Well, that's the thing is like, it's just a rumor by that point. And then when, like I said, you have to set it up to where whoever comes back, like that's the way you do it, is like have Boba Fett or Bosk or somebody like that, come back and say, yeah, it's a dead end. Did you find anything? No, just desert. There's no kid, nothing. Because otherwise, then why else wouldn't, he looked for all those years? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I'm of a camp. Don't make the show.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing really, unless you come up with something good like that, there's nothing to really tell there. What did he do? Sit around for fucking 30 years, 20 years, whatever it was? 20 years.
Yep.
He was living off as a hermit. He was hiding. I mean, where do you go with it that is going to add to the story to be better than what we've already made up in our own minds?
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The only thing you can add there is, like I said, give a reason why Vader never went looking, and 2, give a reason why Owen and Ben don't like each other, or at least Owen doesn't like Ben because he has they give us nothing in the end of episode 3 to give us a reason why, he's like, because as soon as Luke mentions Ben, there's that whole jerky kind of reaction that Owen has. It's like, that all hermits, whatever, just stay away from him and blah, 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 and shit like that. So it's like you get that kind of attitude out of him where he just doesn't like him and he knows he's trouble. And we know why. But like at the time they made the story, George Lucas didn't even know why, really. That's what, Jeff was getting at before too, was because Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader were still 2 different characters.
Yeah. Father Skywalker is how he's been referred to. By the way, guitarist SD, not only have I read the Star Wars comic book series, I had the author J.W. Rinsler on the show last year. So if you guys are interested in one of the most important voices in the history of Star Wars, J.W. Rinsler, check out High Council probably, last August maybe?
Yeah. It was, I was super cool to listen to because I was like, oh my God, this is like, stuff it's been a really cool experience over the past year for us too, just meeting some of these people like J.W. Rinsler for you, Russell, and now Richard Chu for me, like some of these people who made our favorite Star Wars, properties and things happen, getting to actually talk to them and hear them talk about doing that. It's really
that's the part that blows my mind because Jesse's seriously interviewing him for her channel, and I'm hearing all this cool behind the scenes stuff and talking to him too. He's super nice. Like this guy's like, hey, who's your boyfriend? Hey, starts talking to me. I'm trying not to geek out because it's like, we talk about the editing of Star Wars, how it saves the movie. Mm-hmm. And here's this guy that did it. And it's like, well, that's cool. So we've kind of reached, like, the degrees of separation from that movie have lessened.
Yeah.
Because now you're friends with the guy who worked on it. It's like, there's only a few other people more instrumental in that final product.
Right.
So
it's kind of exciting.
It's cool. When's that going to be recorded, you said?
So we're recording the portion with Star Wars and specifically on Thursday, and Thursday is also when part 1 will be dropping. So if you want to get the preamble, basically the backdrop to his career that all led into that's going to be coming out. And a lot of fun nuggets that are going to tie back into the rest of the conversations we have. So definitely worth a listen.
Oh, definitely. It's a good show. It's not me trying to be your boyfriend to be nice. As a Star Wars fan, I sat there. The pre-interview is the part that I was listening to on Holy Shit. And then you recorded that. And so I know it's coming next. So I'm super excited.
Yeah. And now we did our little run through, which ended up becoming this just fun multi-hour conversation, is going to be available ultimately to patrons only. So
okay.
That will be exciting as well.
That's so cool.
Dreary Nitpicker says, John Campia's explanation of what happened to Gina is so laughable and filled with holes and contradictions. It's hard to watch.
Let's not even get started on him. Mm-hmm. Greetings and salutations, Quarter Black Garrett.
Is he here?
He's in chat.
Oh, what's up, man? Hey. Dreary Nitpicker, though, to comment on your super chat, I don't like John Campia's content, and I don't respect what he does, so I don't watch it anymore. I don't have any desire to try to tear the guy down or hurt his brand or do anything to him. I just can't in good conscience watch anything produced by him or the former Collider ilk, because a lot of those people are bought and paid for and toe the company line. That's what I'm getting when I get a lot of their brands of entertainment. I'm getting what's acceptable from the top.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, I kind of have a similar outlook on him like Jeremy does of Geeks and Gamers. I respect what he brought to the table initially. He's one of the reasons I'm here, like Jeremy has said too. Like, he was one of the guys that showed us that we could do this. But then he went down that hole that Jeff is talking about. And we try to be a bit more respectable of him than some people are, just because of Robert and the ties they have. But, and Robert also, he has a good understanding of, like, it doesn't matter. I mean, he will stick up for, John when he feels the need to, but he also understands that people don't see eye to eye with him. And sometimes he also thinks that some of the things that are coming out of his mouth are unbelievable. But again, that's not my place to speak on that. But I'm just saying, like, this is a community where, not all of us get along or agree on things. But John, for better or for worse, kind of got this ball rolling, and I respect him for that. But after that, a lot of the shit he has said, and, I've even said it to Robert, the things that bothered us, and he totally understands, But I also give him credit for being one of the few people that stood by Robert during his situation, which makes me completely boggled as to why he doesn't understand the whole Gina thing. That, sometimes John just has the worst takes in the world.
I agree with that. Samurai Vader says, Tom ate my homework. Also, hi, Mecca. Not you, Jeff.
It was good. It had frosting on it.
Well, thank you, Samurai Vader. Leo Breaker 49 says, I find your lack of faith in my whole disturbing. Oof. The Super Smash Brothers candidate says, my past super chats were towards Mr. Pasha, but he left. I might send an email and hope Doomcock is doing fine with the problems going on in Texas. I don't know what's going on in Texas.
I think the weather.
Dude.
Everything's frozen, blackouts, people are dying and shit.
Hey, same shit's hitting Ohio. I got to worry about my mom. My mom fell on ice. That's where my concerns are. So
Cock works at home. I'm sure he's fine.
Black Lotus 30, thank you very much. But all Super Smash Brothers candidates, you can also, hold on. I'll scroll up in a moment and take a picture of that. I think I might be able to send it to Cameron. Black Lotus 30 says, speaking of dead franchises, gotta look up Predator 5 synopsis.
I heard a little bit about it. I'm not enthused.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, it was about women powers.
Black Lotus, if you'd like to remind me, you don't have to send another super chat or anything. On Thursday's podcast, the guys and I are, we always talk about Predator and Schwarzenegger and shit like that. So that's something we could look into once we've actually been a little, once we've read up on it a bit, because I don't want to go and half cocked. But thank you very much. Drew Nitpicker also says, oh, Tom, I don't want to leave the guy hanging. Besides Whammon Power, are we on Earth or are we back on the...
I didn't get that far.
Oh, okay.
I got another one, though. My whole... I should have recognized my foul stench when I was brought on board.
Charming to the last. Drew Nitpicker says, Tom, have you ever found that bunch of Coke for 20 buckets? I feel like it's some myth or a legend like the unicorn or the pot of gold and leprechauns.
No, if I would just stumble upon some Coke, I don't think I would dare try it. Now, if it was some weed, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll talk. Jack White says, Jeff, have you checked out Full Brother Alchemist yet or Yu Yu Hakusho? We watched more Yu Yu Hakusho because we watched it in that bar. We watched it when we were fucked up. So I can't really report back outside of Jesse laughing at the guy. The fucking spirit gun thing in the suit. You kept laughing at that shit because we weren't.
Oh. Yeah.
The only anime I made you watch.
It was weird, but it was funny.
Yeah, like I was like, we were gone. But, thank you. Those Jack White sent that one. Jack, thank you for sending everything. You, Wheezy Bird, and one other listener did not. Somebody sent a bunch of anime and manga, and nobody put their name in it. So I always say thank you to all three of you gentlemen, just in case it could be one of you, and I don't want to leave out anyone. So I apologize, but thank you. Justin B, thank you. He says, we will not go quietly into the hole. We will not vanish without a fight. You can ruin Bill Paxton's iconic speech with the words, my hole. You have done it. Thank you. I will no longer get goosebumps when I watch that movie. Andres Fernandez, thank you very much. He says, hey guys, here in South American Twitter after the Snyder Cut trailer, we all agree in one thing. We need the whole post-apocalyptic Batman movie. It's an incredible concept and must be made now. I can get behind that one. Honestly, I could. You could even keep Zack Snyder on board because it would be a stupid Elseworld story. So if you're going to have a stupid Elseworld story, anybody could direct it, as long as it's not Rian Johnson. But would you guys watch the Nightmare Batman, that post-apocalyptic flashback?
Hell yeah.
Super Mastermind, thank you very much. The T-Rex is a real giant robot. In the original Jurassic Park, yeah, it was animatronic, right?
Yeah, but by the time you get to Fallen Kingdom, I don't think there's any animatronics whatsoever.
You know, it's funny you bring that up. That is the first comment I made to Jessie, because you know how the movie opens with that egg cracking? I said to her, I missed the practical effects or whatever. I commented. That was the first thing I thought of. So
I think Jurassic World still has a couple, but very, very few. But what's funny is you went from I think it was 52 CGI shots in the first Jurassic Park, or 54 or something like that, to 2,200 some in the last movie. It's just fucking insane difference. It's yeah, it shows. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to kill the possibility of you liking that last film either. So,
oh, dude, it won't kill the possibility.
And I'm actually looking forward to the newest one coming out, and that's just because Trevorrow's coming back. See, he wasn't there for the second one; he was just producing it.
Oh, dude, one of the first things I said to Jesse after the credits rolled was oh, he would have made a Star Wars movie. And then I went, huh. That was the first thing I said. I went, huh.
His script is good.
Oh, well.
Not great, but good.
Anything's better than what we got. I mean, I could fart on a snare drum and it's going to be a better film.
I ain't farting on no snare drum.
Thank you. Taker610 says, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Hole. Gives a Goose the Scloop's Chocolate River a whole new meaning.
Ooh.
Swinging Cod, thank you very much. He says, I want to start making videos, but I don't know if there's a market for them. They're all Dion Green and Sweet, Sweet Horse Love. Any subs?
Sweet, Sweet Horse.
Well, Swinging Cod, if Pornhub wouldn't have changed their policies, you might have been in business. But all things considered, there might not be a market in this country. But try, I don't know, Germany, Japan, Norway. One of those places. I'm pretty sure they'll have a market for that. Dion's very popular in those countries. Dr. Blue Box, I put this on screen because this one made me laugh. Knights of the Whole Republic. Adam Walford, thank you very much. He says, Cortana. John, what are you going to do about the Warthog tank? John, I'm going to shove this plasma grenade into that wart's hole.
The last remnants of my hole have been swept away.
Adam Walford, since you brought up Halo, here, let me turn on this camera real quick. So I often call myself a big kid with money. I got one of these.
Nice.
Because they're $30 and it comes with a figure. So these are super cheap toys. They're great quality, high-end plastic. But Halo's been overtaking a lot of my life right now. Besides the game and these action figures. Salvador knows what's up. He gets all the messages.
I was never a big Halo kid. Never been.
In the beginning, I wasn't, because I went to private school and those kids were really shitty and snobby. And so they all played Halo. So I had to hear all about how whatever. It's I have a GameCube and a PS2 and an Xbox. How am I the shitty poor one? Just because I play Super Smash Brothers. Anyway, once Halo 2 came out, different story. Halo 3, I waited in line at midnight for that shit. That's my game. So again, cheap plug. Check us out over on Twitch. Mindless BS Gaming. We're good. Aren't we not, Jesse?
We are.
We have a lot of fun. So if you want to watch people not suck at Halo, join us over there. Swinging Cod, thank you very much. He says, idle holes. Darth Nabel says, coincidence or Ram Jammeran's name inspired by the band Ram Jam with the song Black Betty? The lyrics, whoa, Black Betty, Ram Lam. Am I too far off?
Sorry to say this, but you're a little late to the party, but yes, we think so.
And the words are, oh, Black Betty, Jammeram.
Oh, Black Betty, Jammeram.
Tom, I dig your new icon, by the way.
You know what? I'm so swole right now. I feel like I'm going to burst. But I didn't take any exercise, and I didn't even have to change my diet. All I had to do was know Perry Chan. That's it.
Oh.
Perry Chan's the man. He can make you swole.
Cesare Japan, thank you very much. So the DD twins from Joker's Gang in Batman Beyond was inspired by concept art for Prince's Joker Gang from Batman 89? Wouldn't be surprised. I think it was the other way around. That the Batman 89 twins were inspired by the DD twins from Beyond, because this project is a continuation of Batman 89 that I'm pretty sure it's the same one they tried to do a couple years ago with Joe Quignone as the same artist. So I think it's just a flip of that Cesario Japan, because they can't have a Harley Quinn equivalent, so they'll try to have something like that. So it is interesting how they want to have the Joker Gang be a part of Batman 89. Now I wonder if they're going to use this comic book storyline, and they do in the comic book world? What if they tie it to Batman Beyond? What if they do a future of Batman 89? And that is the playground where you experiment making the film. That kind of shit's possible. That's the benefit of Warner Brothers owning all their shit. Now, is it going to be good? I don't know. I don't think so, but I want it to be. Brett Cohen, thank you very much. He says, Mecha, my cat hates itself. Explains a lot.
Aww.
Oh, you have a self-hating cat? That's the worst.
Aww.
We have a self-cleaning cat.
Most people do.
Ours try to make.
Han, he makes the biggest mess.
Oh, well, that's different. I mean, they clean themselves just fine, but like, oh yeah, making messes, that's a different story.
Han tends to get the mess on himself.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha.
Han is the mess.
And then not be equipped to clean it off.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Han once got excited and jumped, and as he jumped, he shit everywhere.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think I remember you telling me that story.
He's
I think I remember you telling me.
Now. That's his new way to get our attention.
I look at him and say, thank you. Very sarcastically. Headcase Laboratory, thank you very much. My dangerous hole in my black ass.
Oh, God.
It's going to be dangerous. Miss Ninja Julian, I got the message. I already took care of it. Lancer737 says, my theater in Iowa is the best. They serve real White Castle burgers, Vienna beef hot dogs, everything. Their pizza sucked, though. I miss going out. White Castle burgers at a movie theater. I get a crave case for the Avengers. People will hate me by the end of the movie, though. Guys, what would your dream concession at a movie theater be? Like, obviously you can sneak in food, but like, what would you like a movie theater to have?
God. Taco Bell.
Happy ending table.
Mecca, every seat is a happy ending seat in the movie theater. You just got to go with the right person.
That's true. No, God, the movie theater I used to go to in when I lived in Wisconsin, they always had the really, really good like nachos, but it was like Zaffaro's nachos. So I like really, really good nachos with like real ground beef and real ingredients. So I like having nachos at movies.
I'm a traditional popcorn guy, so I mean I'm pretty. Got some popcorn, maybe some sweets and some chocolates, and I'm good. That's all I need. Some soda, stuff I don't need.
I'm part German, so I love a good pretzel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind some of the extra fun stuff they throw at you, but no, like generally to me, it's like having that bucket of popcorn and the soda is just so traditional theater going thing.
Feels wrong to go without it.
I agree. I will sit through that Kristen Stewart movie just to eat popcorn. So, was it Underwater? That wasn't terrible. I can't even act like it was.
That was pretty fun.
I dozed off. I can't comment on it. Matt G says Vader tells Fett to comb the desert to find Luke. We ain't found shit. Thank you, Matt G.
Nice. Tuvok who said that too, which is so great.
We ain't found shit.
So Ruin of House Roundhead, thank you very much for your generous super chat. He says, I can't believe how stupid Disney and Lucasfilm have become with Rian Johnson still having a trilogy and the firing of Gina Carano. They don't want money anymore.
No, they're about their religion.
Let's be clear where this Rian Johnson thing is coming from. And you already brought this up, Jeff, but this is just some person who won the prize to get to talk to Rian Johnson, and she asked him. And again, it's to me, I equate this like the whole thing when they ask Alicia Silverstone, would you ever play Batwoman again? And she's like, sure, I'll play Batwoman again. And it's like, you poor bastards, quit giving this woman the idea that she has a career. It's like, the same thing here. Quit asking this guy about the Star Wars movie. It's not going to happen. He thinks it is. They keep telling him it might, but it's just that thing that everybody knows but him.
Yeah. Swinging Cod, thank you. And I'm just saying thank you because I pre-read your message. Who would win in a wrestling contest, Lemmy or God? Trick question. Lemmy is God. Fuck. Honestly, if I had magical powers, I would change the fact that Airheads was a flop. I'd make it one of the most successful movies of all
Rangers?
time. There's 3 of you. You can't exactly be lone. Shouldn't you be called the 3 Rangers?
No idea.
Such a good movie. That movie was one of those that just it was like one of the last good you can just watch it over and over and over again on cable sort of movies.
Oh, hell.
Beavis and Butthead calling. We saw you guys last week. You suck.
Dude, to me, Airheads is the quintessential 90s flick right alongside of Wayne's World. If you want a good representation of that era,
Chris
watch
Farley.
those movies.
I think I like Airheads more than Wayne's World, to be honest.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Just a little, just because I just think it's a little bit more. I don't know. I think it's because I was older when I watched it, and I think that's the only real reason. And I've seen it more times.
Airheads,
just because I saw it so much on cable.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I could go that far, but it is a very underrated film for sure.
I caught it on Movies That Rock. And by the way, that Blu-ray is super expensive, Tom. You want to
It is. Print? Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what the hell's up with the rights to it. Anchor Bay released it years back. Fox did the DVD.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, the Blu-ray was done by Anchor Bay, and it's been out of print. And yeah, it's expensive as hell. But
go ahead, Tom.
As I say, I've learned to just wait, because anytime I pay a hell of a lot of money for a movie, it always ends up getting re-released right after I pay. Dude, it never fails.
Full transparency, I love Airheads, the movie. I own the DVD. I bought it on a vacation one year, but I had Nick get me a Blu-ray rip. I ain't paying $200 for that movie. I'm not paying $200 for any movie.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'll wait till it comes out again.
Drew Nitpicker, thank you very much again. He says, I agree 100%, Jeff, about John Campy. He just seems shallow and he's very cringe and arrogant. No soul. He seems like a corporate shill totally. I made a video about him many years ago, Drew Nitpicker, and I gave my stance. I feel the overproduced Collider content was just not my cup of tea, and that's the stuff that I always felt inclined to address. And I think they're gone now, right? The Collider crew is no more.
Pretty much. There's still a couple of remnants, but it's, and I mean, I know there's things I could say to stick up for John if I really wanted to, but then again, it's probably things I probably shouldn't necessarily know about him or not supposed to talk about in public. So again, I don't like what he says or does most of the time, but I don't know if I'd go as far as some of those things. Because I mean, he did walk away from Collider when it became too commercial.
He did have the integrity to really, despite everything, to go in and say, "Hey, I did not like Rise of Skywalker." So at least he had that. Either he had the integrity to do it, or he jumped on some bandwagon thinking he was going to be the first one to hate it and ride the new wave of hating a movie. But
one thing I will say, he has bad takes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mecca. I thought you were done.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna finish up with that. I think he genuinely didn't like it the way he broke the news, and it seemed like he had to make a tough decision. Like, do I praise the crap out of this movie or just admit it sucks? So I got to give him respect for that.
Bro. I'm not going to go as far as to say he's a shill per se, but I will say he has some very bad takes. That's the thing. Because, I mean, he's not somebody who gets a bunch of interviews anymore like he used to or anything like that. I don't think he's real concerned about getting into this premiere, that premiere. Not like some of the other YouTubers, especially like Harloff and stuff, are like, for 5 years, I kissed ass and blah, blah, blah. So I really think that, I mean, to go that far, but no, does he deserve a lot of the shit that's slung at him? Hell yeah, because he called a bunch of people,
humping idiots,
all that shit and I haven't heard his take on Gina, but I can imagine how stupid it is. I mean,
to keep myself sane, I just don't watch his content. That's
where I'm at. I don't watch it, so I don't have any comment on it, so I don't have to worry about it. Because
exactly,
9 times out of 10, I can guess what he's going to say.
Now, Joseph Bienowitz, thank you very much for your giant super chat. I love the rage quit video game thing. I thought it said race quit for a minute, and I was like, what does that mean? We're not playing a racing game. But then I was like, rage quit. But Joseph, thank you very much for the message and all the generous support. Drury Nitpicker says, Jeff, I lost my home/town to a campfire back in November of 2018. Jessie was one of the first people to donate to my GoFundMe. She's a keeper, man. Yeah, I won't say all the nice things about her because I don't want to kill her persona, but she is a keeper. She's a good girlfriend. She's a great girlfriend and a keeper. And you hear this from Drury Nitpicker?
I heard the end of it, and then I came back to read the rest.
See?
Aww.
Did you get her something nice for Valentine's Day?
We took great care of each other all weekend.
Dude, you know what our gift this year was? Food.
And actually,
chocolate-covered wiener?
we acquired a waffle maker / griddle, a Ninja Foodie grill.
Oh, those are so nice. I want one.
And a fondue pot.
Oh yeah, and we made infused fondue. I'll say that on air.
Oh,
it was fun.
It was exciting. Fondue.
Fondue it was.
Put it on Jeff's wiener.
But thank you, Drew Nitpicker, and I hope everything's gone well for you since then. I know that was brutal on a lot of people.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, man.
Insult to the Human Race says we will be watching your hole with great interest. Thank you, Insult to the Human Race. I appreciate that. Nice to be on the up and up at all times. Wild Katarn, thank you very much for everything. He says, sorry if you've mentioned this before, but what are your thoughts on the upcoming Young Rock TV show? Well, Wild Katarn, I will give my thoughts on this show. Pretty much how I feel about The Rock in general. In terms of wrestling, I'm his biggest fan. I will still buy his t-shirts, toys, fucking $800 statue. Love The Rock in that regard. When it comes to the actor, he's fine, but I'm not going to watch the show. I've read his book. I love wrestling history. I've read the stories from the people. And another big complaint I would have is I know what all the wrestlers should look like. Young, old, this and that. I'm too much of a fan to really get into that. And yes, I know The Rock's family had promotions and they really are important to the history, the lineage of professional wrestling. I mean, hell, The Rock's the first third-generation superstar. So you would think that this show would be in my wheelhouse, but again, it's just that weird dilemma of, that's not Andre the Giant. That's not Soul Man Rocky Johnson. I know what The Rock's mom really looks like. So, yeah, long story short, I will not be watching it unless I hear like crazy good things or for some reason they cast me as Andre the Giant in season 2. Other than that, I'll watch The Rock's other projects. Shit, go back to wrestling. I'll fly across the country to watch you wrestle on a day's notice. But other than that, I don't think I have time for the show.
We, sir, give a user una bungo. The speediest way to Dambu is going through my whore.
Alive. Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Anyway, Drew Nitpicker says, however, GoFundMe didn't go through and I never got the money, but it's the thought that counts. I'll never get past your kindness. P.S. Tom, how old are you, bro? LOL, I'm just curious.
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 40. I'll be 41 in a few months.
Well, Drew Nitpicker, I'm sorry to hear about the situation with that, but, you know, hopefully things are still going well for you, and I'm glad you're able to join us tonight. And again, thank you for everything. I really appreciate that. Swinging Cod says a more topical and more important 90s movie out of print is PCU. DVD is minimum $40 online.
Yeah, I don't know why that one's out of print too, but I got the DVD of both Airheads and PCU, but yeah, eventually they'll get a Blu-ray release, or sometimes the HD version will get put out there on streaming, which I don't like, but if I have to take a choice, you know.
Joseph Bianowitz, thank you very much again. He says the stickers for Rian Johnson just quit. Hail to all, hail to Jeff, Tom, and happy birthday, Mecca.
Thank you.
Felicity Poobell, thank you very much again. She says, if it wasn't for The Last Jedi, no one would care about Rian anymore. He's just reminding Kathleen Kennedy that she owes him. Hopefully maybe Kathleen Kennedy doesn't pay up at all.
Yeah. Let's hope not.
Adam Wofford, thank you very much again for your generous super chat. He says, John, Cortana, what are we going to do about the Covenant ship? Cortana, well, I'm going to stick this Mac cannon down this hole and see if it can scream.
So I can substitute it's not just my.
Oh, I really want to play Halo now, but Jessie has her stream, and I think it would be rude that she's streaming and I'm playing Halo right in front of her on this lovely TV. So
I just want to get the rules straight.
Yeah. So, folks, I'm going to drop the link. Now, Jesse, would you like to tell the audience what you got on your show tonight?
Yeah, we got a great show. A couple of really strong men in the Fandom Menace reached out to some women to tell us what to say about being a woman to make the men in the Fandom Menace seem more legitimate. Because it's the only reason that women get together, obviously, to talk about women's issues, unless we are woke feminists. So that's what we're doing. Actually, it's it's actually a really great panel. It's me. Yeah, you guys know Jedi Bunny from the Geeks and Gamer Circles and just general fandom and his awesomeness, as well as Sweet Pea from the Mindless Mob, the chats everywhere. She's really great. She was on the channel a couple weeks ago, and we're going to have fun just basically discussing the absolute dearth of role models for women in the media today and why that's actually important. And the same people running around telling you that, you know, oh, you hate women, this, that, the other, are the ones doing the most damage to the next generation.
There you go, folks.
I don't hate women.
Hear you roar.
Good food.
I can attest to the fact that Tom does not hate women because he is in the chat. And as everyone knows, if a man can stand to listen to a woman for more than 5 seconds, he does not hate them.
Nah, I don't hate women.
Spoken from a woman. Swinging Cod, thank you very much. He says, PCU will remain buried due to its taking the piss out of the current attitude.
That could be very well one of the reasons why. I'm waiting for the same thing to happen to Idiocracy, because that has yet to get a Blu-ray release as well. Though it is available in digital on streaming, because I did buy it for like $5 on Vudu a while back.
It's a wonderful film. Bought it on DVD many years ago.
Yeah, I've got some DVD too.
It's a documentary, not a movie anymore.
It is. It is. It absolutely happened. Right in front of our eyes in one generation.
Why did you lie to us about it?
A prophecy.
I like money.
We have one more super chat. Thank you very much. From Jury Nitpicker. He says, hey, since the fire I discovered you guys in the Fandom Menace, you guys seriously have helped me through some of the hardest times of my life. So hail. Well, Jury Nitpicker, thank you very much. I'm always happy to be a part of this community. Love to hear messages like this. But when we hear stuff like this, it makes it, worthwhile. And I love that each and every week we're doing this on the channel. We're doing it across the board. Everyone has been growing and having a good time. Mecca, how's the cooking stuff going? Are you having fun with that?
I have been having so much fun with that. I keep getting all these kitchen-y gadgets and things to use. So now, I'm gonna try and stream something this week, cooking wise. But those are just so much fun because, I mean, it's. I think it's important to bring in more positivity into the communities. That's why I want to do more gaming streams again, and that's why I want to do more cooking because it's just like, we get it. Star Wars is really shitty, and Kathleen Kennedy hates us. Let's focus on over. Let's go give money to KitchenAid. They haven't called me a racist. They haven't called me a sexist. Let me give money to them. Let me give money to, the dispensary. Let me give money to somewhere else.
At the same time, you can make some home.
Okay, Tom.
Yep. I was just saying, at the same time, you can make some homemade, pizza rolls, Cobra Kai pizza rolls or something, or like we said, Big Trouble in Little Chinese Food or whatever.
Nothing will beat Totina's pizza rolls. Just ask Kristen Stewart.
I love Totina's pizza rolls for many reasons.
It's the greatest SNL sketch.
It is. It's a good one. Joseph Bianowitz says, hey, Tom, I'm 46.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're a little bit older than me.
And then Taker 610 or 610, depending on if you're measuring his height, says Bat Hole versus Super Hole.
Lord.
Tom, where can we find your hole on the internet?
You can find my hole on Midnight's Edge After Dark, hanging out with these hooligans every Tuesday night. I pop up every other place it seems like there is to be. So you can find me. All you got to do is turn on YouTube, and I'm probably there.
At the top of the page. Mecha, where can we all find you?
Mecha Random 42, and I'm the same name over on Twitch, I believe. Patreon, Subscribestar, Twitter, wherever, everywhere, hanging in chats of everybody's streams usually and lurking. So,
folks, you can find me here on this channel all the time. I had a video come out today. I have a video come out Thursday. We're going to talk a little more about. Well, I'm just going to surprise you, but it'll be out on Thursday, so keep your eyes open for that. Make sure that you guys do sign up for the comic. I showed some trading cards tonight. They're the stretch goals, so it's the Fandom Menace. This is a project to celebrate all of us.
I'm going to be a trading card?
Yeah, you're a trading card officially, dude. So, Agent Coulson would collect you if he was still alive.
You don't know what that means to me. I got busted stealing Batman cards.
And now you're on one.
Now I'm on one.
The circle is now complete.
The circle is now complete. Now I am my hole.
Yes. I was going to say if you didn't.
Now, folks, this means we have reached the end of the High Council, but it does not mean you have reached the end of the fun tonight. I have dropped the link for Jesse's stream. I could do that again. You can go over there, hang out with Jesse, Jedi Bunny, Sweet Pea, who is now a mod on this channel, and have some fun hanging out with the ladies. So I'm going to go. We're all going to go here at the High Council, but thank you for watching. Be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.
And buy ice cream.
But maybe Dogecoin? I don't know.
Doge is going